Hello everybody! I'm so excited to be back here with you today. Are you ready to go on an adventure? Well then let's take a look in the old duffel bag and see what we've got prepared for today. Let's see what we got in here today. Old book, Scott's Lady of the Lake. Don't think that's relevant. Here's another nice old book. A laugh a day keeps the doctor away. Shall we start the video off with a nice little joke? Every good adventure starts off with a nice little joke. Let's see. The Mystery of Wednesday. A Broadway actor got carried away by the spirit of the Prohibition times and remained carried away for several days, if you know what I mean. He came to himself in his own room without knowing exactly how he got there. A friend sat beside him. "Hello," he said as he opened his eyes. "What day is this?" "This," said his friend, "is Thursday." The invalid thought it over a minute. "What became of Wednesday?" he asked. And that's the joke for today. What else do we got here? Cancer, its proper treatment and cure from 1932. That could come in handy, I'll tell you. What else we got? Oh, everybody knows you need a little bit of time to just to yourself, to take and relax. And that's what these are for. I got these off the awesome Trader. Check these guys out. You might remember that from our last adventure together. I find it's nice to just sit sometimes. But again, that's not going to help us on this specific adventure. Here we go. This is what we need. That's right. We're going on a seafaring adventure. So, you all know what that means. It's time to go and get wet. You all know what time it is. It's time for us to listen to Pepe Deluxé's Queen of the Wave. That was the sound of my phone just now. Kinda completely ruining the entire thing. I'm just gonna ignore that because I don't want to do it again. Hello everybody and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. If you couldn't tell already, I am so flippin' pumped. I just heard myself through your headphones, so we'll have to be aware of that. We need to get closed back to headphones so that doesn't happen. But it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I am pumped, like I said, because, and you can tell because I put all this effort into this absolutely silly video that I would be shocked if more than 100 people watch. Nobody knows about this band. Nobody cares about this band. But I'm expecting, Cody, after we listen to this album, that you and I are going to be like enormous fans of this band.
Yeah.
I have one album by this band, and it's their second most recent album. Their new album just came out. We're going to do reaction to that on the channel sometime shortly. But this is Phantom Cabinet Volume 1. It's absolutely incredible. It is, I mean, I think this album is possibly the most impressive album I've ever come across. Ever. In like almost every aspect. I think the recording, I think the amount of effort that was put into it is more than like any album I've ever... I mean, it's insane everything that went into that album. However, we're not listening to that album right now. We're listening to, as I said in the intro, Queen of the Wave. And for years, I have been wanting to get a couple years now since I first discovered Pepe Deluxe, their last album. I have been wanting to listen to this album and get into it, but I thought maybe I would do a reaction to this someday. And so I've been holding off now for about 2 years. And so I am so pumped to do this. This album is, from everything I've read, the way they describe this album is, and I'll read it, it's on the back. The back tells us the whole story of everything we're going to go through here, Cody. It says it's an esoteric pop opera in 3 parts.
Okay? Oh, that's awesome.
So this whole entire thing, everything we're going to be listening to, is apparently very heavily based on and inspired by the book A Dweller on Two Planets and its sequel, An Earth Dweller's Return, which was written in 1902 by someone. And the book is from the point of view, it's written from the perspective and point of view of it being a fake book that was written by someone that lived in Atlantis. So it's sort of it's chronicling someone that was a citizen of Atlantis and then was exiled or left or something. I don't know the story because I haven't listened to the album yet, haven't read the book. Although I did see that you can still buy copies of the book online for like
it's probably in the public
$20.
domain. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's
I've never heard of that book.
Me either. I didn't know what it was either until I started doing research for this. One thing I have to say about Pepe Deluxe, just based on what I do know, they started in the early like the sort of mid to late 90s, and then kind of started getting albums coming out in the like 2000s, and they started as kind of like a electronic sort of breakbeat DJ style thing with lots of samples. And I have listened to their earlier 3 albums, their first like 3 albums, and I really find them to be interesting, but not as interesting as their later work. If you ask me to describe Phantom Cabinet Volume 1, which their new album that came out is Phantom Cabinet Volume 2, I think it's called Comics something. We'll get to that when we get to that eventually in a different video. But this is Phantom Cabinet Volume 1. It says the curious cabinet of sonic phantoms, priceless musical treasures recorded from within the greatest galaxy of instruments, oddities on this earth, this or any earth. And the whole point of this album was they traveled around the world and recorded the strangest, most rarest instruments to be on here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they recorded a steamboat organ on one of the songs. That's really cool. They recorded like a flute that was made out of some guy's skull. They recorded, tons of really cool things. One of the songs on this album that I love is called The Halls of Kali-Yuga, I think. Yeah, Halls of Kalevala. And it's this big building somewhere in, I don't even know where. If I said a place, I'd be totally wrong. Somewhere out in the world, this huge building, and they took this drum kit there, and they set up all the drums, and they recorded it in all these different hallways and all these things. But the building is like famous for having like crazy, like weird reverb and sounds in the building. And so they set up drums and recorded it there. And the whole point of the song is that it's set up in different sections. Nothing repeats. There's no chorus really. It's just the drum sound changes throughout the song, and it's based on how the drums sounded in those different areas and locations. So a very like audiophile, audience like type of album that I just like. I mean, I can't. This is the most impressive musical piece of music I think I've ever seen put together ever. And I've heard a lot of music with all sorts of different points of origin.
Yeah, is that the thing you showed me like a year or 2 ago with the behind the scenes videos they did?
I did, yes. They recorded videos, and I sent them to you. And I don't know how much you really looked into them, other than maybe just watching a little bit of it here and there.
I think you showed me some of them at your place.
I did, I know your wife Audrey was there as well, and we listened to maybe. I don't think we actually listened to any of the music together.
If we did, I barely remember what they sound like.
Yeah,
but I can kind of imagine just based off your description here. But
yeah, but I'm pretty sure that you heard maybe a little bit of it here and there. It's hard to explain, but if I were to try to, I would try to say that it's very much like a collage of sounds put together to create music that is sort of similar to sort of maybe early 2000s, like sort of albums that were put together by DJs and stuff where they were sample based sort of. So
Okay.
like I think to me like the Wise Guys, I don't know if you remember that. They had a huge big hit song when we were like, you would have probably been in junior high, I would have been in high school, but they had a song called Start the Commotion. Do you remember that? It was get up, put the body in motion. When if you're curious and you got the notion, jump to it, just start the commotion. And then it was the Louie Louie riff. Dum dum dum, dum 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 dum
I don't
dum.
think I know that.
Dum 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 dum.
Before my time.
Hey, fight up, baby. Dum dum dum. Like it was. It was in that we'll absolutely have to listen to some of that album. But the whole point of that album, The Wise Guys, I think it's a self-titled album. That whole album was put together using beats and samples from other records. So it was a compiling of all this stuff, very much based in the history of like 80s hip hop music, right? Where they just, everything was based off like jazz samples and soul samples and stuff like that. Blues samples and whatnot. And that is
like there was a bunch of stuff in the early 2000s like that. It was like the Prodigy was doing that.
Prodigy, Basement Jacks, Crystal Method a little bit to that extent. But some of those bands, the three I just mentioned, those were a little bit more into like the breakbeat dancing, like more intense style of music.
Sure.
And this is not like that. This is, I equate this to the Wise Guys and the Avalanches. So for anybody who knows who those people are, do you remember Avalanches, Cody?
No.
With their song Frontier Psychiatrist, that was all the words in it were based off of samples from movies and old records and things.
No.
I know I've showed it to you at one point at the end of the at the end of the song. They like, can you think of anything else that talks? And they're like a bird, and so they have all these sounds of birds and stuff talking, and it's all like wiki things. Like, don't look it up because we'll do a reaction to it. Do not look it up. Don't hear any of it. But that whole song, that is,
I was just wondering what year is 2000 on that one.
Yep, it is. I actually have a copy of that album, but the disc was stolen from me, and it is a pretty rare album. But I still have the artwork for it in the case. So, but anyway, this, from what I understand, Pepe Deluxé is very much in that vein. However, I have not heard a second of this. Not a nanosecond. I don't know anything about what this sounds like at all. And the fact that they're calling it an esoteric pop opera in 3 parts. So it's split up into 3 parts. Part 1 is the first 3 songs. Part 2 is songs 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then part 3 is tracks 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so I have on here, you can see this. I was going to send you, but I got caught up in all this other baloney. Oh, hold on. My fins fell off.
Oh, no.
You know what? I don't know if I can do the whole video like this. So I'm going to.
Okay.
How did that happen? Nobody look at my hair. I guess it works with the like mad scientist explorer thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, when I put my headphones on, it doesn't really matter. So, and I want to actually get into a little bit more of that junk in a little bit, just because we're talking Pepe Deluxé, and the whole point of them is like old vintage stuff. Okay. But anyway, just to get back to the album, I looked a little bit. So on the back here, there's a list. There's a list of characters that are involved. So I don't know if we're gonna have like different people doing the vocals for each thing, or if it's just there is no vocalist in this band, but every song has like multiple vocalists in it, and a lot of it sounds like samples, but it's stuff that they actually recorded themselves. So I think that's probably what we'll end up getting here. Now it does say pop opera, but they're also in the artwork of this, which is absolutely amazing. Like every single piece of literally anything they've ever done. I was going to send you high quality photos of these, Cody, but I was looking them up on Google, and I could not find the images for this.
Well, so there you go. This video is the best source now.
Well, so unfortunately you're not going to be. We won't be able to really talk about this that much while you're looking. But yeah. I know you well enough to know that when you look at this, you're like, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's there's like 100-year-old mad scientist stuff in there. There's
steampunk,
steampunk stuff. It's such a mishmash. It's its own thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Like this word here, This just says Peculiaratorium. The Peculiaratorium, which I think is something that they also referenced somewhere on here on their last album. The Peculiaratorium.
What was the store in Omaha called?
The Imaginarium.
Imaginarium, okay.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Nightwish's album, The Imaginarum, because they made the movie The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and they sued Nightwish. Because Nightwish had made a movie called Imaginarium to go along with their album titled Imaginarium, so then they had to change it to Imaginarum.
Oh, geez.
So, and yes, Nightwish does actually have a whole movie that they worked on, did the soundtrack for, and it was directed by their music video director. Very cool stuff. So on this, there's basically two guys in the band at this point that we need to focus on. And those guys are, you can see their photos right here. I'll try to zoom in on them a little bit. They are P. Malmstrom and J. Spectrum. And P. Malmstrom is an explorer of worlds both known and unknown, and J. Spectrum is the Baron of Sealand in this case. And it says, written, directed, arranged, and conducted by Paul Malmstrom and James Spectrum, recorded at various locations in Texas, Virginia, New York, Boston, Brisbane, Prague, Helsinki, Espoo, Kukkonuomi, Porvo, and Vasa. Balanced, engineered at Sanctum Sanctorium by James Spectrum, mastered at Chartmakers by Svante Forsbach.
Do you know what Sealand is?
No.
Sealand, assuming this is the same Sealand. Sealand is the Principality of Sealand is it's a oil rig out in the ocean off of Great Britain somewhere that has declared itself its own country like 40 or 50 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
And there's I think there's always one person that lives there or something.
Oh, interesting.
And it's famous enough that would have had to have been maybe a direct reference to that, because otherwise it'd be confusing.
It absolutely could be, because it absolutely sounds like the kind of thing that these guys would do.
They would be into that.
Hold on, let me move my... First of all, I want to point out here to everybody, I got a new mouse.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll leave it over here throughout the video, but it changes color and stuff. Bought it
I got so sick of my mouse. I got so sick of my mouse lighting up when I was sleeping, when I used to have my computer in my room. And I went in, and then they updated the software, so I couldn't turn off the lights anymore. So I opened it up and desoldered the LEDs.
Dude, that's hardcore. I love it.
I've been using this mouse for 15 years.
I love it. Well, I can't use this mouse anymore because I bought it at a garage sale for $5, and the scroll wheel is busted. So be thankful I don't have to use the scroll wheel for this. But anyway, I'm going to lower my Streamlabs. So when I'm looking at Streamlabs, I'm closer to the camera. So I don't have to go like this anymore.
Smart, yeah.
I have an awesome monitor over here. So before we get into listening to the album, which I'm very excited to do, and we'll talk a little bit more about it before we get there, we do this on the channel sometimes, but since Cody's here, and because Pepe Deluxé is so flippin' awesome, I have a couple things here that I want to just kind of show off to the viewer. So you may notice that I have over here off to the side, I have my... Oh, actually, it was ready to fall over. I have my big chunk of coral that I bought recently that's been spray painted a brown color, which is actually really not that cool. I would love it to be any color than this. But I thought it would work with
that's the biggest piece of coral I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it might not be real. It probably isn't. It's probably just something that someone made, But regardless, it's cool. It's on its own little stand. It is heavy like a rock, but not super as heavy. I think maybe it is real. No, it definitely looks real. You can see on the part that's not painted there, you can see little shells and things inside there. So
oh yeah, cool.
So that's actually a really cool thing. I don't know.
I mean, I suppose they could have cast a real piece of coral and just made copies of it.
Absolutely,
out of cement or something.
Could have,
if it was a high quality cast. I don't know, or maybe it was just so far back that's when they ravaged the coral reef and sold them as souvenirs.
I highly doubt it. I bought it at Goodwill for $5 or whatever.
It could be 60 years old.
Price is probably... It could be. It says...
Made in Australia?
It says Palachek, made in Philippines. Palachek, It says on it. Huh?
Interesting.
Maybe it's a cooler thing than I thought. I don't know. Maybe it's illegal for me to own.
It could be highly illegal, yeah.
Don't come at me. You can show
off your ivory carvings next?
Yeah, I wish. I don't have any of that stuff. But don't come at me, bro, because I've got this sweet wooden gun from my high school. Right?
Was that for a play or something?
You're dead. Yes, it was used for a play for like when my mom was in high school back in the day. And I was so excited when we found these. When my aunt and uncle bought the high school in the town where I'm from, we went under the stage and we found a whole bunch of old play stuff. And so I got to keep all the guns. And I have one that's way cooler with like an actual locking bolt locking mechanism here. And I was going to be like, I was going to name I had all these ideas for the intro for this video. It was going to be this whole story and everything. And I was going to call the gun something like Queenie or something and like be all like, you don't worry, if we come across any danger, I got me old Queenie here all set up and ready to go, you know, and have the whole thing going. But, you know, I can't think of everything on the fly in the moment when we're doing stuff. And I couldn't use that gun because it didn't have the thing on it. I also want to point out that I absolutely forgot when we were recording the intro that along with the scuba gear mask, I was going to pull these out and we were going to have a big old chuckle at me going, oh, we got, imagine me with that thing on my face, right? Being able to go breathe. I was going to put it on and be like, we also got these things here. We're going to be able to go so fast in the water, you know? It's going to be so great.
Put like a water filter over the video so it looks like you're underwater.
Hold on. Speaking of that, one of the things that I got that I was going to put in the background of the video, and you might remember these from when we were younger. I don't know if they make them anymore or not, but do you remember ever having one of these, Cody?
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they make them anymore because they probably have illegal substances in them.
It's probably mercury in there.
But so what I was going to do was I was going to find some way to set this up right by the camera so that,
It's actually filmed through water.
So it's filmed.
It's too bad you don't have like a whole fishbowl that you could just film through the fishbowl.
Wouldn't that be so funny? Wouldn't that be so funny? So I was going to try. I was messing around with stuff like that. But literally every time I was trying it, the stupid dolphins were in the way, which now they're not in the way. But I literally couldn't make it work. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why am I wasting 2 minutes on this? So I'll put that in the back here somewhere. Or actually, I'll just put it over here. I don't know if that... Yeah, that'll be in the video. That's fine. And every time I move something. I also had... This is really cool. I was going to speak the whole time into this and be like, hey, everybody, welcome back to the... because this is an old microphone, but it's not that old. It's from World War II. I don't think I've ever shown this off, but people who are familiar with my Rob Zombie video from last year will know this as... what do we call him? Mike? Just Mike, I think.
Yeah.
Right, but he had two eyes here and a mustache, and I had a string attached to him and was talking like, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" Well, this microphone actually, if you'll see, it's all corroded and stuff. Mm-hmm. This microphone we found in the attic of my grandfather's attic after he passed away. Not Grandpa Leonard, but my other Grandpa Joe, and both my grandparents were in the military. Cody's Grandpa Joe as well. And or Grandpa Leonard. We share our Grandpa Leonard is our shared grandfather.
We share one set of grandparents, but these are the other ones he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about the other one, my Grandpa Joe. But they were both in the Navy, and they but this we found, and my Grandpa Joe was a comms operator in the Navy, and he did Morse code messages. And he was on whatever, it doesn't matter. He was out there. He was actually on one of the battleships that was, or was that Grandpa Leonard? There was on one of the battleships that was circling when they signed the papers to end World War II.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Grandpa Leonard or Grandpa Joe, but it doesn't matter. But this microphone we found in his attic, and he would never have had anything like this other than from some sort of a military thing. So this, we figure, might be from maybe something that he was training with or something like that. I would not go so far as to say that this is from a ship or anything, but it could be, I suppose. But I have always thought that this is really cool. And I've actually had this sitting up here on the shelf in a lot of my videos for the last year or so. So I want to point that out. And speaking of my shelf, well, if we take Jaws away for a second here, I had this up. If we take that away, people who watch the channel may know, and I'm not going to mess with my camera, but I did move a lot of things around up here, put a bunch of cassette tapes up here. I got a timer up here. I don't know if you can see that or not, Cody, but I think if I zoom in on it, maybe if people watch the video in high def, I have a clock up here, so people can see.
Is it a flip clock?
No, it's just a regular clock.
Oh, can't tell.
Yeah, but it's just a regular.
Cool.
It's clock. I wish the screen was bigger, but now people will be able to tell when we cut how much time gets cut out, which I think
Most
is
people
fun.
would like try to avoid that, showing that, but that's great.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
They should appreciate how long it takes to. They'll see the difference between how long it took from your intro to us fixing our Streamlabs,
Yeah, they will. Yeah,
which was like a half hour this time.
absolutely, 100%. I also have just some new things up here that you all can look around at. It'll be in there for future videos as well. So
Are those your new singles up there?
Yes, those are the new singles.
Nice.
They look really cool, I think, and they extend.
'cause there's
off
like
the
no,
camera here, but-
they don't. There's no gaps between them because they got those cardboard cases.
I brought out just one other thing that I was going to show, just because, or actually two.
I didn't know it was show and tell day. I would have found something.
You can go look if you want, because I know you have even just as cool, if not cooler, stuff than me. So here I've been talking about having a new computer, right?
Oh, this is how you're showing it.
No, mainly I wanted to show my what's it called? My gutty shark.
What?
Gutty Sark.
Oh,
That's this specific ship is from 1869. It's a British clipper ship, the Gutty Sark. I can't.
Cool.
There we go. It's not an. I just think it's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
And since we're on an awesome adventure, I was gonna be like, ooh, we got our trusted Gutty Sark out here, and we're going on adventure, whatever. But then I have to show these off just because I took the time to take them and put them up here.
it looks like you have a Grammy behind you.
I wish I had a Grammy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of my music boxes. That's probably really shrill.
Oh, see, now it's gonna just go.
That could be funny. And then this one is one of my favorites. That ship one we've had since I was very little. And I enjoy these, but not enough to buy every one that I see, because there's millions of these metal things all over at Goodwill's. But this one I really like, because if you'll watch... I don't know if you can see, the ship is going
It
up and
moves?
down.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Here, I'll do this so you can see. So the ship goes up and down like this. As the thing rotates, it pushes this pin up and down that pushes the ship.
When did you get that?
Oh, a couple years ago.
Huh.
Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite ones. This is one that I actually purchased. I have a few of them over there that I thought were neat over the years, like a piano one and a couple of other things. So
I don't have any nautical theme stuff, but I am wearing my shark slippers.
that's perfect. That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
And I also did bring some records over here to show off that we got recently, but I don't want to do that. I want to get into the music.
Okay.
So, do you have anything cool you want to show off other than that?
No, I couldn't think of anything.
Okay. All right. So, one thing I want to mention going back into this from the book. Oh, I guess I should mention too if I assume that Pepe Deluxe will be like, sure, you guys can, not that I'm going to ask them, but like, sure, you guys can use this audio from the album in your video, but just in case I have to upload this album or this video, just in case I have to upload this album reaction without the music from the actual album in the video, know that I'll include a description. I'll include a link. Jiminy Christmas.
You know what he means.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'll include all those links. And then also look at the timestamps if you want to skip to the end, wherever, if you have a favorite song from this album, if you've ever heard it before. But I'm expecting a lot of people are going to be going on this journey with us. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm kind of excited for this. I posted a picture of myself on our Discord channel a little bit ago with the hat and all this stuff kind of being goofy. And I also had my glasses there, which I guess I could have made a joke about this earlier, but I'll just do this. My family's had these glasses for many years, and we always put them on and mess around at times. But so if I were to, but the thing is, I absolutely cannot see anything here. Like I can see when it's this close. It's basically magnifying glasses, as you can probably tell. But I forgot what I was going to say.
He's gone loopy. Take him off. They're messing with you.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So, anyway.
So you posted on Discord. You were excited.
Yeah, I posted it on Discord, and so I'm going to try to get everyone on Discord excited. So if you're seeing this video because you like Pepe Deluxe or whatever, and you want to maybe join our community, think about it. I actually just created my Patreon account today to try to get a Patreon up and running so that we can actually do that. I've taken the first step. Yeah. So we will be having things like that, but don't worry. I'm never going to start like hiding all this cool content that 100 people are going to watch behind any sort of a paywall. So, all right, let's get back into this real quick. I just have a couple more things I wanted to discuss. Like, I feel it's important to read a couple things from here just so we have a little bit of context. So this says Paul plays, and then it has this list of stuff next to this robot here. And I don't know if you can tell, but the list starts and basically goes off into oblivion over here. Like it literally gets small and small till it's to the point where it can't be. Yeah. But I was just going to read some of the stuff that it says here. See, those are two. Spanish guitar, ARP, 2000 something. String section, 1964 Fender Jaguar guitar, horns, tambourine, Gibson, gold top guitar, Mellotron upright bass, 1969 Fender Mustang bass, Farfisa organ, music box, violins, cello, clarinet, vocal and bass effects, harmonium, grand piano, 1947 Epiphone, Triumph acoustic guitar, then stuff that runs a Mini Moog synth, hand claps, 1963 Fender bass, something, Hammond organ, Prophet synth, something. I was reading in the booklet before we started, and I noticed one of the things it has in here, lead and backing vocals, Sarah Welling. I'm actually not even going to read that because I don't want us to necessarily know what's going to be happening on every song, but there is a big list here of the people who are featured in every song, which is good that people get credit. And then one of the things back here, it says, yes, the first ever, the great stalactite pipe organ. It's the grandest on earth. The first ever composition for the great stalactite pipe organ, or stalagpipe organ.
I get it.
It says, at long last, truly marvelous, the extravaganza of all times, unequaled, not to be surpassed, must be heard to be believed. In the cave, you hear a sweet and wondrous melody. It is the choral song of a mountain. It is the sound of rock. All right. So there's a song on here called In the Cave, and that is the song that features the stalagpipe organ.
That's awesome.
So that's something we'll get to. And then as we go through each song, which we're going to pause between songs, and I will read what it says for each song here.
Okay.
But at the beginning, the paragraph here, it says, a dweller on two planets, the most important text of the 19th century Atlantis canon, tells the story of a young man named Zalim, and that of a group of people with whom he closely interacted, presenting a first-person account of Atlantean culture which had reached a high level of metaphysical and scientific advancement. Their daily life included such things as levitating ships, having an uncanny resemblance to 20th century UFOs, television and aerial water generators. In the book, Zalim travels through times, experiencing both triumphs and failures, confronts the antagonist Mainen, probably pronouncing that terribly, a man of terrifying attainments of knowledge, and exposes the cause and effects of karma from one lifetime to another. Also, deep esoteric subjects including astral journeys to Venus, personalized heavens, and reincarnation are dealt with. This musical adaptation is the final result of years of painstaking research and development, a concentrated effort by a dedicated group of world-class oral craftsmen and sonic scientists. The solution of Off the Beaten Path, music and strange sounds is unique in its presentation. Let us begin this venture extraordinaire with Song 1. And Song 1 is called Queenswave. So, if you're ready to move into this, actually, I'm going to go grab my beverage first, and then I will read that, and we'll get into the song. We're just 30 minutes into this video, plus the however long ridiculous I did at the beginning, so we're still doing okay. Let me go grab my beverage, and I'll be right
Okay.
back. Look right here. In this video, I have something very special. This is going to be my first time ever trying the brand new Mountain Dew Liberty Chill.
Is that the white one? What is that?
This is the blue one.
Oh, okay. So I have the Star Spangled Splash,
Okay, I like that
which
one.
I have not tried.
Oh,
yet, so,
really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I just put it in the fridge. I just finished a whole pack of the blue ones. I didn't like them at first, but then I grew to like them.
And you really like the white one, right?
The white one's the best, yeah.
How could you say that when you just tried this one for the first time? No! Yes!
Oh, you almost overdid it.
Oh, I did overdo it, but that's all right. It'll be good as we go. Okay, I'm gonna
Ooh.
try this.
This is good. This reminds me of the Casey's flavors.
Overdrive.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this. You know, I'm not just saying this because it's like this, but this tastes just like a blue icy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's called Liberty Chill. It says
it's 50 flavors, right?
okay, whatever, Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
But it tastes like blue icy.
The blue one is very sweet. I think the blue one is the sweetest out of all of them.
Yeah, I would say that.
The white one is the least sweet, and I like the white one a lot.
I enjoy the white one as well. The white one is peach, lemonade peach. Mm-hmm. And the red one is a berry of some kind. And my mom actually really enjoys the red one.
You don't. I mean, the red one kind of tastes like some other Mountain Dews, but the peach one, like there's never been a peach Mountain Dew as far as I know.
It reminded me a little bit of the mango one that they had a couple years ago.
The mango Baja Blast,
Yes.
There was like a mango lemonade or something too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just read this and get into the song here.
Okay, so was that thing you just read an intro to the album?
That was the intro to the album, just kind of explaining what the thing was about.
Okay, yeah, go ahead then.
All right, so I've got the songs pulled up. We've got 40. Is that 48 minutes? Or 43:04?
Oh, 48.
48:04. Okay, that's the
48:08.
Mine says 48:04.
Well, it might be rounding each individual track, possibly.
Are you using a foobar to play yours again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm using Winamp, so maybe there's just some
Okay,
little difference there. Okay, so what it says about track 1. This is Queenswave. It says, a Tesla coil synthesizer opens a dimensional gateway to the world in the time of Zalim, which is BC 10173. So I guess 10,173, where Atlantis is the queen of the sea and the land. All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
I'm so pumped for this. I don't know how we may have to stop this if the levels are so insane, but I think that just for my sake for the audio, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. This is 5-minute song Queenswave in 3, 2, 1. Do you have any idea kind of what to expect? I know I basically spent the last half hour telling you have no clue what to expect.
You've kind of given off a vibe, so I'm kind of expecting I guess I'm thinking of Atlantis by Donovan.
Acoustic guitar.
Yeah, that's not what I expected.
Me either, but I'm really happy that's there. I think this has the potential, Cody, to be like a favorite album of all time. I really think that. I really do.
You're really hyping it up before.
I know, and that's one of my great sins on this channel.
Sing a song for you. Let me spin a tale that's true.
Okay.
A story about the days of gold.
I wonder if we're gonna get kind
A story
That whisper?
more than
Yeah.
ages old.
That bird noise that's just like an oscillator.
Woohoo! Let's go. Let's go. Ooh, I love those like bell things. We're going to hear a million sounds on this, so just get ready for that.
Echoes of ancient harmonies, reflecting their present images, like falling leaves that keep their green.
Pan flute.
Falling leaves of wisdom from a queen.
Now I'm thinking of Uncharted soundtrack.
Let me sing a song for you. Let me spin a tale that's true. A story about the days of sun. The days before the ocean won.
Awesome tom sounds. The drums, everything sounds very 70s to me.
Yeah.
Like 70s movie soundtrack almost,
Sure.
which is very cool. Ooh. How can we hear something completely different every 4 bars?
Whoa.
I would think you would love this.
Yeah, this is great.
This is like psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
The drum sound, reverse tom hits there. Oh, it's the mixing of the technology and the technique. There are no lyrics in the book, unless they're just like some of the weird like text floating around on stuff, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, I should say these guys are from Finland.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Let me sing a song for you.
Love it. I love the vocals.
A tale that's true.
The effects on everything make it feel very vintage sounding.
Days of light.
Yeah.
The days before the darkest night.
How? It's like...
Oh.
That sounds to me like it could be a P bass, which is a specific style of bass, electric bass guitar that the Beatles used and that the Black Keys use on a lot of their stuff as well. This is really nothing like any of their other stuff I've ever heard. But that's kind of the point of it. Every one of their albums I've heard is completely different.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. That gets me so pumped for the rest of this because yeah, this is also going to be like Pink Floyd. This is going to be the thing
it's
that
all gapless.
comes. Yeah. So I just have to say, when I first heard Pepe Deluxe, the thing that just blew my mind about it, and the reason I said earlier that crazy statement that I think it might have the Phantom Cabinet. Mm-hmm. When I first heard that, I said earlier that I thought it might be the most effort ever put into an album.
Yeah.
This is why. Like I really don't think that you can go on a keyboard and find a harpsichord patch, a guitar patch, a string patch, a glockenspiel patch, a bass patch. You can do that. And nowadays with modern technology, which this album came out in 2012, by the way, just to let everybody know, because I didn't say that, but I believe this came out in 2012. And so that tells you the technology. We're already 12 years past this. But like everything we heard there was organically played by someone. For the most part. Obviously, there was lots of oscillators and synths and things, and that was played probably by someone too, and even some sort of an oscillator with someone on a knob turning it to get those specific sounds. Mm-hmm. But like the impressiveness of the effort that was put into recording this, I feel cannot be overstated. Like, we heard something different essentially every 8 bars in that song. Mm-hmm. And like I don't even mind that there really wasn't a chorus. There was kind of a bit of a thing that they repeated a couple times with different vocalists, I think, kind of a melody at least they repeated.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, that was just a vibe the whole way
Yeah, it
through.
was just setting the stage, getting you in the right mood.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the album is just like that.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I think everything's going to sound way different than that, but I don't know. So how did you feel about that?
I liked it, and I it seems like a big part of this band is the aesthetic, like the visual aesthetic. It's great that they do like those behind the scenes videos and stuff to like show you what they're going through to make this stuff.
Yeah.
I think it really adds to the enjoyment of it.
Yeah. And speaking of that, they do have, and I've been actually debating about buying it for years, but they do have there's a deluxe edition of this album that comes in like a long box, and it's got I think two or three CDs and a DVD. And on the DVD, it's sort of behind the scenes of everything. I think you can watch most of the footage on YouTube, but I never looked it up because I didn't want to hear anything. But I think you can watch most of it on YouTube, and you can find the songs on their like on Spotify and on their Bandcamp page and everything.
They have vinyl available.
They do, yes.
Cool.
I don't know for this one because vinyl wasn't that huge in 2012, but there are two new albums that you can purchase the vinyl from. But the special deluxe edition has like a big, it's like a long box type thing, but it's a book.
Yeah.
So it basically folds out as a book, and there's like way more pages filled with all sorts of artwork and also actual pictures of the artists or the musicians that we heard in that song playing different things. Just recording different things. And so I think let's listen to another song, and then I want to kind of maybe take a guess as to how some of this was maybe compiled and put together into a song.
Okay.
But let's listen to another song if you're ready to move on.
Yeah. You want to read the thing?
Yes. So keep reminding me about that. So this is A Night and a Day. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. This is a poetic synopsis of Mainin's, the bad guy, remember, whose name means light, first steps to becoming a light adrift on the seas. A lure to death for all those who followed him. Esteemed as a god by nations he controlled eons ago, he started looking for eternal lore and life beyond the grave, turning to the black arts. When a woman he loved was stoned to death on false evidence, he determined to fulfill vengeance against any and all men.
Any and all men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So this is that in song form.
All right.
So A Night and a Day in 3, 2, 1. I started the wrong song like a dummy, so I'm still going.
You're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I clicked it over right away. You might be like 1 or 2 seconds ahead of me, but
All right.
I love the drums sample there on the side. Love the guitar, the twangy guitar. Oh, I love it!
This fits the description so well.
Oh my god, I love it!
I'm just imagining this as a movie.
How can people not know about this and talk about this band all the flippin' time?
I know.
It kills me. This is something special we're experiencing, and everybody watching this video. I mean, this could be in any... that synth bass. I was gonna say, this could be in any Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so groovy. God. That's a voice, distorted voice. Boom, dum, da, dum, dum.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
another voice, a female voice with it.
And now-
Do you think the lady's gonna die? Oh my god, it sounds so cool! Dan Auerbach wishes he could make music like this. He does. If he's never heard this, this would blow his mind. So that's all voices.
Yeah.
I thought the dynamics in this too are really good. Like the lows and the highs in terms of volume, really nice. I wish Chris Parker was here with us doing this too, because his mind would be exploding as well. Every human being should hear this.
That's right.
If every song on this album from here are not faded out, it'd still be incredible. I love the aggressiveness here.
Yeah, like it really, yeah. I mean, it's an evil undead spirit going out to sea to kill all men.
Yeah, yes.
Right? That's what it sounds like. Whoa. Oh man, if you could see my spectrogram right now.
Is it going?
Yeah, it's zigzag. Whoa.
Cody, I can't even with this. This is even more than I wanted it to be. This is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's fun.
Right?
Yeah.
So with the last song, one thing I was gonna say and I thought we'd listen to another song and kind of see. So that song to me felt like more of a song rather than kind of like a hodgepodge of things put together.
Sure.
So that song to me felt a little bit more, and probably all the songs were like this, but like thought out from front to back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with intent behind everything. But I thought maybe in the first, like when you have all these different musicians, like I could try to count in the book, like the amount of people who played on this, but I mean, it would take me an hour to try to decipher everything. But there's like, just on this one page, there's like Timo Lossig played flute, flute, sax, horns, arrangements. Then Jukka Eskola played trumpet, French horn. Mikko Mustonen played tuba, trombone, bass. Like, so this is just the horn section basically here. But then we also have like Arc Attack, Tesla coil, synthesizer played by. And then we have the Czech Film Orchestra arranged by Villy Rippin or something. We have. The Kaleo Church pipe organ. We have glockenspiel, organ, clarinet, harmonium, percussion. Like that's so far I've mentioned like 10 people doing this stuff.
Yeah.
A guy named Jarmo Sari played glasses. So I assume that means like glasses with water. Viola, the gamba, fretless electric guitar, a fretless electric guitar, which I don't know if I've ever even heard before. So, but like, there's just like all over this booklet, there's like little sections where there's just like writing here, and that's where the people are, the people who played are listed. So it's like so many people. So my thought was going to be in that first song, if they have sort of like a rough structure of the song with like the bass notes, for example, and the general like what's going on in the song, and you have the person come in who's going to play trumpet, you just have them riff on like all the songs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you just have them go in and you say, okay, this song's in the key of A. Here's our chord progression that we do, and it's not that complex musically. It's a lot of repeating parts. Mm-hmm. So like someone could just come in and play the trumpet over it, and then the person who put this together, who is a musical genius, and I'm not even joking, like the compiling of this requires someone that is masterful at their craft, which is amazing. So the person who put this together can then look and be like, okay, on this song we have, all these different elements, and probably a full 2 or 3 takes from every instrument, and then they just compile the song using little bits and pieces. That's the vibe I got from them. Now maybe they had it planned out as like, okay, in this. For the first half of the verse is going to be electric guitar over here, and then that's going to go away, and it's going to be replaced by a glockenspiel, and then that's going to go away, and then it's going to be replaced by this. But I doubt that. I'm pretty sure they just played different things, had people fill in, improvise over things, and then they just compiled it, right? The thing that
makes sense to me.
Yeah, and all that's great. But the thing that's blowing me away more than anything so far is how fantastic the rhythm guitars, the bass guitar, and the drums sound, right? It sounds like something straight out of it just sounds like 70s or maybe even late 60s, like music. It's the way everything sounds vintage in from that era.
Yeah.
But it's being played in a more modern, aggressive way, and it's mixed so that the drums and everything are way up loud in the mix, like a hip-hop mix or something. Mm-hmm. And I think it just sounds phenomenal. I just think it sounds phenomenal.
I would love to hear this in like quadraphonic or like surround, like 5.1 or something. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. Absolutely.
I did see somewhere in the world it was released on a Blu-ray, like Italy or something, but I don't think that it had special mixes for it, but this is the kind of band that would do something like that. Though as far as I know, they've never released their music in surround sound.
Okay.
But I totally understand what you mean. Like, there's so many things happening, and the quality of the recording is so good. It would be neat to have a 3D interpretation of it. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay. Are we moving on?
Yeah. So this is the end of the first part.
Yes.
The first act.
Yes. So this is the last song of part 1, as you said. And I believe this is sort of like one of the singles from the album. So this is Go Supersonic. And I did see that they had a YouTube video for this. I watched a bit of the YouTube video, but I put it on mute before they'd even started. And the music video itself is just this like lady in kind of like a very 60s looking kind of swimsuit thing type of deal, I think, if I remember. Maybe I'm just imagining her in a swimsuit and she had like a dress something on. But anyway, she very much like something out of a Frankie and Annette movie, Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello type of movie, right? Like beach blanket bingo, right? Something like that. Someone looking like coming straight out of that. Standing next to this giant, huge like synthesizer. I don't even know if it was a synthesizer. It looked like a board for phone plugging in an operator's
it'd
board.
Probably be a really old synthesizer.
Yeah, but it was something like that, and she was just like standing next to it, going like this the whole time, and then she was speaking every now and then. So I don't know if she was doing words or what, or if it was just maybe it was just a commercial for the album. I don't know, like an advertisement, but it was 4.5 minutes long. So this is what this says. This is Go Supersonic. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. So be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Mm-hmm. Through hard work and luck, Zalim has entered the home of the emperor. As a son and prince among men, he receives the full command of the Valix ship, enjoying races from the realms to the air, of the air to those of the deep. So let me read that again. He receives the full command of the Valix ship, enjoying races from the realms of the air to those of the deep. Now it says here okay, interesting. So it says on here the Valix ship. Mm-hmm. It says the Navaz powered ship constructed for both aerial and submarine service.
Oh, okay.
That's on the side. So it's got a little. Okay. See, some of the characters and words have like a little number by them, and I can go over to the chart over here and see what it is, and it explains a little bit
footnotes.
More.
Cool.
So let me just see what it says on the stuff we missed here. Zalim, a hero, a stalwart young mountaineer. Is who he is. And then Mainin, who's the villain. It says a villain, a diabolical priest, also light. Then it says here, actually, for 3, a Tesla coil, a transformer that can develop extremely high voltages and enormous sparks.
Well, I know what a Tesla coil is.
Yeah, and then it just talks on here about Rai Guaxlin is the Emperor of Atlantis. I don't think that really matters, but that's there. And we've got all caught up. So
Cool.
All right, go Supersonic. So we can think here like a ship, like from Star Wars or something that goes in the water and also in the air.
Yep.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
I like those vocals.
Yes.
So you should go when you are gonna go. 'Cause if you don't go, you don't. We're still just making up your mind. And we will find the only thing to win. So gone, 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 gone.
Very cool.
Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. And we are moving out, going with a blast, blast. Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. And we are moving out, stepping out. If you do what they have done, then you will surely go.
There's a harpsichord for you. I know you like your Baroque pop.
I do.
It mentioned that in their Wikipedia article.
Oh, really? Nice.
How you could write a Wikipedia article on these guys, though, I have no idea.
We know the path, the night side mark. We know the treachery holds. All of the hail and all of the cold. We know the seven of the black. The seven colors back to
I love this.
This is my favorite so far. I love
Yeah.
the vocals a lot.
This is sort of reminiscent of a lot of the stuff from Phantom Cabinet Volume 1.
Okay.
It might even be some of these same ladies.
Graceful action like a power man.
Power Man! Power Man 5000!
Join the race that has begun.
Dude, I love those synths. So do you think we went from the water, now we're going to be in the air?
Or vice versa. I was
Or
thinking
vice
something
versa?
like that, yeah. Whoa.
Don't look back, don't we're back on the track.
Oh my, this is cool! It's like the soundtrack to a movie.
It's almost like a musical.
Don't look back, don't we're back.
Or an opera.
Race like hell, don't we get till we get out of this place.
Oh, does any of this give you like Beatles vibes at all?
What they have done, then you will surely go.
I mean, I know it's way better than any Beatles song I've ever heard, but
You should know where you are gonna go. You are gonna go.
The last couple tracks I was thinking kind of
We're still just trying to find your way.
the Guess Who, the guitar really sounded like it was from American Woman.
okay.
This one completely different, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Supersonic and stepping on it.
Yes. Third chorus here.
Supersonic and stepping on it. We are moving out, going with a blast, blast. Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. Supersonic and stepping on it. And we are moving out, going with a blast, blast. Supersonic stepping on it. Supersonic
I love though how that sounds.
Supersonic stepping on it. Supersonic stepping on it. Going with a blast, blast.
Oh.
Outro.
Oh, right, for sure. To my knowledge, this was not released as like 3 separate EPs or anything. It's meant to be one piece of music, like
Sure.
one album.
Yeah. So we had intro song, villain song, and then hero song, essentially.
Basically, yes.
And yeah, I was getting those vibes from all those.
Yeah, which is cool, isn't it? Like, it's neat if you just have a little description of stuff.
Yeah.
That was definitely my experience when I used to work at the recording studio that I used to work at. When we would go do the symphony concerts, and we would sit there for 3 hours recording orchestra, hour and hour, and then like about a 45-minute break, and then another hour and a half, 2 hours of music. I've always found classical music to be pretty boring, especially when it's those longer pieces. Like, it's very hard for me to focus on that kind of music that long. But if I had something, we would always have a program with us, and reading along with the program always did help me focus more. And especially because it explained, what was going on in each movement, what was happening, and the more specifically based off of something concrete it was, the easier it was for me to listen to it. And this is the same kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I recently watched Fantasia. I haven't seen that in a long time, and it's like they tell you what's going on, and then in this movement, this is happening, and then you see it on the visuals with the soundtrack, which has no words, and you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be so cool if they did something like that. Not Disney, maybe, but it'd be cool if some company tried to do something like that a little bit nowadays.
Yeah, I don't really know many things like that.
Well, do you remember that? I have it over on my shelf over there. It was it was a thing that they made in the early 2000s using like CG, but it was called animatronic music or something, animatronics or something like that. And it was using CG, and it was all using like synths and stuff at the time. But the whole I can't. I'm just going to go grab it to see what it is.
Okay.
You talk for a second about the album, because it'll take me like a minute to find it. Talk about how much you like that song and the vocals.
Oh, okay. All right. I like the song a lot. I think I know what Patrick is thinking of. I think there's there was like an early 2000s CGI series of musical shorts that were like everything was physics based, so it's like bouncing balls and stuff. Let's see if that's what he's got.
Whoa.
You almost
That would have not have been good.
that would have been an environmental disaster.
Okay, so what I was talking about was Animusic. Do you remember that?
I was thinking of that too. Yeah, that was like early 2000s.
Yep.
You'd have like it would be
2004.
like they'd be like shooting steel balls on keyboards and stuff like that, right?
Yep, it says a stunning combination of unique computer animation and bombastic electronic music. Very clever.
Yeah, very clever. It says that on the box.
Well, Alan, that was a quote from Alan Parsons.
Oh, well, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Rube Goldberg, CGI Rube Goldberg animated music thing.
Yep. And it's
That's
got
cool.
5.1 surround sound. There's director commentary on here, fully animated musical menus.
Dang, that's actually pretty cool to own on DVD.
Yeah. The first Animusic animation from 1996. That's actually kind of cool. And then sneak peek of Animusic 2, which I'm fairly certain never came out. Because this thing tanked, I'm pretty sure. So, but that's actually really cool.
Dude, you got to watch that in 5.1 sometime.
I do. I need to, yes. Especially before I switch over to if I ever get a PS5, and then I can't listen to this on surround anymore.
Yeah.
So you specifically mentioned you liked the vocals on that song.
Yeah, I just like, I guess that girl or those two women, I guess, that were singing.
Yeah, it might have even been 3, to be honest, but
Yeah, there was a few different voices. I couldn't tell if it was like one person just re-recording her own backing vocals or what was going on there, but
for sure it was at least 2, if not like 3.
Yeah.
But and then that part where the whole everything came in, I was like, that's just cool. Just cool. All right, so now we're moving into part 2. It says not act 2, interestingly, just part 2. This is the Temple of Unfed Fire. And so it says, enter the Incalithlon. Let's go over to the chart and see what that is. The Temple of the Sun. Enter the Incalithlon, the greatest Atlantean sanctuary. Outwardly shaped like the pyramid of Cheops, it contains the occult Odic light Maxin and is ruled by Inkaliz Mainen. So, holy cow. Maxin is an unfed antimatter light, and Inkaliz is just a high priest. So it contains the occult Odic light Maxin, which is an unfed antimatter light, and is run by high priests of the bad guys, as far as I know.
So this is probably what the bad guy's going after, maybe?
I think that this is the temple that they run.
Gotcha.
I think it's the temple that they run.
Okay, sure.
So,
makes sense.
all right, this is the Temple of Unfed Fire. So this might be a bit of a darker one, but it's much shorter. So,
okay.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I love that, like, the distortion that's on everything, the tape saturation. I adore it all. It's really hard to get things to sound that way synthetically. Like, you have to have really cool vintage gear to get those sounds.
It sounded like the intro to Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles.
Oh, interesting. Very cool. I love it. This could be like playing as you walk in, you know, and they're like...
This is way more lighthearted than I was expecting.
But see, this is what they want you to think of it, you know?
Yeah.
This is what they want you to your perception of it.
Sure.
This is like Westworld. This kind of vibe I'm getting. Oh. Dan Auerbach, eat your heart out. Very cool, repeating the melody. Welcome to the temple. Oh. You're the master organist.
It's like going into the Emerald City.
Yes.
There's like so much all this whimsical stuff going on.
Yes. Will there be a little hint of the something's not quite right here? How can I have never have heard of these guys before I discovered them myself?
I know.
You know, Cody, why don't people talk about this band more at all?
I don't know. Racists.
The people, we don't like those Finnish people around here. We don't like those Finns. And which is funny because I was talking about Nightwish earlier. They're one of the most famous Finnish bands of all time too. Plus, one of my favorite bands of all time, the Rasmus, also Finnish. Plus him. Plus Vinny. What's his name?
But compare any of those to ABBA.
They're from Sweden, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Here.
Oh, you know what? I can't trash talk the Swedes. They got Gothenburg metal, so I can't trash talk the Swedes.
Yeah.
So, Plus, I did a report on them when I was in 5th and 6th grade when the Olympics were going on, and they were my team, and I still kind of root for the Swedes a little bit every now and then.
You're going to turn off all your Finnish listeners that are tuning in just for this.
No,
video.
they know. They trust me. They know.
They hate each other, right?
No, they represent. We know that
The Swedes love the Finn. I don't know.
Hey, they can all get together and agree that they hate America, just like everywhere else in the world. So
that's fair.
We you know, that's how it works. So okay,
that was fun.
yes. Do 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 do. Welcome to the temple. Welcome to the temple. See the master
going
organist.
into this, we're like, all right, this is going to be a dark one, guys. It's
And
like,
then it's the opposite of
to the
that.
temple. It was great.
Then that made me wonder, like, were we just wrong in our interpretation? Or, like I said, is that what they want you to perceive?
Yeah, maybe.
You know, do they want you to think that? Which it's so cool that this is even making us question that. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? Normally, we don't even care about lyrics or anything, but like it's really cool.
It just adds a whole nother layer to it, and it's fun.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. I'm so pumped to hear their new album too. Oh gosh, this is great. All right, you want to just move on?
Yeah, go ahead and read the thing.
Okay, that was that was the first song of part 2. This is the second one. Contain Thyself. Before Atlantis and before time, in the kingdom of Eden, the earliest home, mankind was highly interesting. Mankind was highly intuitional, but womankind even more so. Oh, you thought we might have been a little sexist here? We're about to throw the women their flowers here. Lucifer provokes first women and then men to eat the forbidden fruit of knowledge. The forbidden tree of knowledge.
They eat the forbidden tree.
All right, let me reread that. Okay. Before Atlantis and before time, in the kingdom of Eden, the earliest home, mankind was highly intuitional, but womankind even more. Lucifer provokes first woman and then man to eat from the forbidden tree of knowledge.
There we go.
The new world and new conditions are born, eventually leading to the wonders of Atlantis.
So this is the story of Adam and Eve.
Basically, and how
This song.
Yeah, and how Lucifer, I think that's what he referred. Yeah, Lucifer. Yeah. So we have Lucifer in this world. Lucifer provoked and tempted them, and because of this, the wonders of Atlantis came to be somehow. Okay. All right, so this is Contain Thyself. In 3, 2, 1. Love all that.
Are we crossing the border of the pale? Is this the end?
It sounds like Scarborough Fair.
I was just gonna say that. Parsley sage.
Saying goodbye to old friends, sailing
Which is an old English,
away,
like, hymn or whatever. So, like, it,
to understand kindness of strength, mercy in victory, majestic foundation.
foundation.
Nothing is turning our ships off the course. Day after day, heading straight to the source. No one is
Very loud vocals there.
Yeah.
harm, sailing without remorse.
Weird to have the bass on the left side, you know?
Understand kindness of strength, mercy,
Bup, bup, bup,
victory,
bup, bup, bup,
majestic
bup, bup. Ooh.
foundation. Contain thyself. Contain thyself.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's cool.
pop me in a sweet hip hop beat here.
Contain thyself. My sweetest friend.
this is like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Dude, what a cool way to use a synth like that.
Whoa. This would be when you pull the goggles down.
Oh yeah, it would be. You're right. Oh, just when you think it can't get any cooler.
Yeah.
This song has felt very British. Or Anglo-Saxon. Kind of mariachi trumpet, though.
A little bit, yeah. Gross sounding.
Oh, cool. I love those extra little hits in there.
What was that last instrument that was all bubbly sounding?
You got me. It's hard to know what any one thing is going at any moment. Like,
yeah, who knows?
That was really cool though.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Bum 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 bum. Like, oh. Contain thyself. Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think of Scarborough Fair the entire time. Which, yeah.
I'm sure that was intentional, don't you think?
Sure, or at least that style of.
Yeah, because Scarborough Fair is based off of an old English like
whatever
folk hymn thing, with like a ballad or a balladeer type thing, like with traveling. What do they call those people? Traveling bards, like that kind of a thing, like that, absolutely. But there was a lot of elements to that really did feel that way. But then, bum 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 bum, and just the most massive kick and snare drums of all time, and then everything settled back down. It doesn't really bother you that the volume of the drums or anything changes so much, because it's just the song itself is dynamic inherently. Yeah. So it's like, oh man, vocals there great. I will say one of the things that confused me a little bit when I first started listening to it on the Phantom Cabinet Volume 1 was that they do have vocals and things spread wide to one side or the other.
Yeah.
And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to evoke that period of like Beatles, Nancy Sinatra, early stereo stuff where it was 4-track stereo, right? Where it was, you could only pan things left, right, or to both, which put it in the middle. Right. So
yeah, and it was well, a lot of it was two different microphones would pick up 70%. I mean, you could do like middle stuff, but I think it was such a novelty at the time. It's like they want the left and the right to sound way different.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Like the example I always go to is Nancy Sinatra, because they have like Nancy's voice on the right side with maybe drums or maybe bass, and then the drums and the strings are off to the other side.
Yeah.
And then that's really it. I mean, maybe some background vocals mixed in with the strings.
And this is definitely more balanced than that.
Oh, absolutely. That's kind of what I was going to say, was that when I first started listening to their other album that I'm familiar with, it was jarring at first, and I was like, I don't know if I like this, but then I figured out what they were doing, and it does always come back to the middle with the vocals regardless. He's putting on his captain's hat. I love it.
Look at me, Patrick. I'm the captain now.
I say when we play the next song. Hey, don't invite me to change costumes halfway through because I've got stuff lined up. But hey, you'll have to watch our next Pepe Deluxe reaction
We'll
in order
definitely
to
do
see all
another.
that stuff.
I'm excited to listen to more of this.
Yes,
Or more of this band.
absolutely. I cannot wait to listen to their new one. So let's move on with this one, though.
Okay.
I don't really know how that was. I guess I didn't really get a lot of like.
Yeah, I wasn't
Garden of
sure
Eden
because
stuff?
they were talking about like being on a ship and going towards the edge of the world, and it's like okay, that's not the story of Adam and Eve. But I'm not sure if it was supposed to be like this is a different time period, and this is the woman, and it's an Adam and Eve allegory,
It could be, yeah.
or something
Who knows?
like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It did lose me a little, but
There's also definitely like I feel like a little bit of like the Odyssey type of stuff in this too, like where it's like a great epic adventure. And it did say at the beginning going through multiple times, and it also did say lifetimes as well because it was talking about one of the things it just said in one sentence was the effects of karma from one lifetime to the next.
interesting.
Which I think is a really interesting concept that I've literally never thought about before because I always think of karma exist. Not that I necessarily believe in karma, but like the idea of karma is one that exists like sort of in present time. So the idea that if you do something good or bad in your lifetime now, you would get punished or rewarded for it later on in a different life is kind of interesting. Okay, so now we're on track 6, Hesperus Garden. And Hesperus, I just want to point out for anyone that's listening to this and not watching, Hesperus is not, I don't know what that is. I'm sure we'll find out here, but there's no apostrophe. So it is a Hesperus garden, not the garden belonging to Hesperus or Hesper. Okay, a little prospection. A little prospection. Don't know what that is. Zalim, having become prospection. Zalim, having become a Hesperite, must withstand the trial of the crisis before he can unite with Anzime, his alter ego. In a garden on a vast mountain peak of Hesperus, Zalim faces the chief one of the Ivale, who tests Zalim's soul. Trying to lure him out, the demon takes many forms, the last one being Anzime. So, oh boy, we got a lot of numbers here.
Prospection is the mental representation and evaluation of possible futures, including such function as planning, prediction, and daydreaming. So it's looking forward.
Totally. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So Zalim, having become a Hesperite, Hesperite is a Venusian person. Well, we don't know what Venusian means. So okay, he must withstand the trial of crisis. The trial of crisis, a test to see if a soul needs to retrace the life. Oh, okay, sorry. A test to see if a soul needs to retrace the lifelines through a new circle of incarnations. Okay, so I guess that would be like, have you lived your life meeting all of the requirements to do this, or do you need to live another life to try to meet it, which is an interesting concept. He has to withstand the trial of crisis before he can reunite with Anzime. So Anzime is the daughter of Rai Guaxim, which is, if you remember, he was the emperor, basically. So he must have, I'm assuming, fallen in love with the daughter of the emperor.
And this is the hero we're talking about?
Yes, Zalim.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, no, it says... Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Zalim, having become a Hesperite, must withstand the trial of the crisis before he can reunite with Anzime, his alter ego. Okay, so his alter ego is the daughter of Rai Guaxlim. They're Guaxim.
That's a weird concept.
That is weird.
Okay.
In a garden on a vast mountain peak of Hesperus, Zalim faces the chief one of the Ivale, who tests Zalim's soul. Okay, so I guess that's basically all we need to know in terms of the words. So this is basically going through a test to see if he's fulfilled all the requirements to basically level up, is what I'm getting from this. All right, so this is Hesperus Garden in 3, 2, 1. Here we get our brass section. Do you think your dad would like this?
I don't know what he likes and what he doesn't.
Like if you put this on a 45 and you just put it on his record player.
Yeah, he would say it's cool. Whoa, that was awesome.
That was cool. Dude, the guitars are so cool, this whole album.
Does this sound a little Grace Potter to you?
I could see that, yes. And that's always a good thing.
Of course.
Oh, it's so cool. Look out! Love that.
Sample of something.
Yep. They stopped using samples at a certain point, really.
Yeah.
But that was like a defining feature of their music in the early 2000s. So
Okay.
I think they must have just been like, why would we just resample this when we can just record something, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That was a little Godzilla-y.
Yeah.
We're only halfway through this baby. Let's go. I don't even mean the album. We're only halfway through the album. Let's go. I don't care if this video is 4 hours long. This is great. Sorry if you have something going on or if your wife is waiting for you upstairs, but you'll have to tell her she has to wait.
Yep.
This is more important than your love life. Or anyone's love life, for that matter.
Damn right.
Damn right.
When the breeze it touches my trees to stir the shadows on the red grass.
Oh, weird. Oh, how? How did that happen even?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was like stereo, and what they were doing was panning the stereo image as she was moving her head from one side to the other. There's a lot of Kaiser's Orchestra in this. A lot. Boom. I might have to force Chris and Chris to listen to this sometime, because this is just unbelievable to me from a mixed perspective. Like it's absolutely unbelievable to me. Oh, that might have been my set. That might have been my favorite song.
Oop, I stopped it early. Let me know if I missed anything. It's almost like they started.
It
into the
sounded
next
like a
song.
spaceship going.
Okay.
And so the first thing you're going to hear in the next track is going. So, okay. What were you going to say? It's almost like what?
Oh, I don't remember.
It's almost like this is the greatest thing we've ever heard.
No. It was not relevant.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I can't. It's. I'm so glad that this is as good as it is. Mm-hmm. Because this is how good I wanted it to be, but this is far for surpassing all of my expectations.
Yeah. So far, I've loved the vocals on every song pretty much.
Right? Yes. It just has this throwback feel to it. Like all of it does. It feels like infomercials, like commercial. There's like this like commercially like cheekiness to the whole thing too. Like a tongue-in-cheek type of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But it also just has, it's just cool. It's just cool, man.
Yep.
I don't know how any of that had anything to do with like facing any sort of a thing. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics.
Any of the words on that one, so
yeah,
that's okay.
All right, well, let's move on. This is just so awesome. Okay, so Grave Prophecy. That doesn't sound good. So this is... Actually, let's listen to this one, and we'll go into the next track as well.
Okay. I think the next track maybe begins the next section.
It does not.
Oh, okay.
Track
okay.
8 is the final part of part 2. Or the
Okay,
final
then, yeah.
song of part 2. And
Sounds good.
that's the stalagpipe organ
Yeah,
interlude.
I'm excited for the cave.
Yeah. Okay, so, but first we have track 7, Grave Prophecy. A warning to Zalim and those who know. The omens of destruction are called upon. I'm sorry. The omens of destruction are called up. During several thousand years, Atlantean culture and science will slide into decline, and even the mighty will fall. Finally, on the day of wrath, the continent will be swallowed by the sea. So that's what the prophecy is saying. That over a 1,000 years to several thousand years, Atlantis will basically, their society will slowly degrade themselves, and then eventually on the day of wrath, it will be sucked up by the sea. And then we're going to go into track 8, which is In the Cave, which just says Stalagpipe Organ Interlude. Okay?
That's exciting.
Yeah, so this is track 7 going into track 8, and then we'll stop, and then that'll be, from then on, it'll be the final part of part 3. So track 7, Grave Prophecy, in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's that wet sounding.
It's just got to be a low oscillator of some kind.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. This would be a sweet wrestling entrance theme. Bum, 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 bum.
Awake, oh child, and arise. The day star gleams in skies. Open up your eyes. Awake, oh child, and arise. It's sunset in disguise. Open up your eyes. Awake, true child.
This guy sounds like Bobby Darin.
I was going to say he sounds like the guy from the Southern Culture on the Skids, which I don't know who Bobby Bear or whoever you mentioned is.
Bobby Darin, Somewhere Beyond the Sea. That's okay. He's from the 50s.
Have you ever heard of the Asteroids Galaxy Tour?
Yeah, you showed me them a long time
showed you.
ago, and I listened to them a little bit.
This is very
At that
much
time.
like that, but like not. This is better than that, but cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I actually think of that band a lot because it seems like a lot of stuff that came after them kind of sounded like them
Yeah,
in different ways.
yeah. I wish that band was still around too, but they, and they released their third album like 5 years ago, and it's just awful, terrible.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. I like that this kind of stuff happens in the middle of a song rather than at the end of a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or as sort of a transition. It's just like part of the song. Just cool. A day shall come. Here's the prophecy.
Yeah, this is definitely something you want to listen through all the way through.
Yeah.
A day shall come. The land is no, never to be seen by the sun again.
Mandolin. I think those strings are real strings. I wasn't thinking at first that they were. I love mixing strings with organ. It's such a cool, thick, fat sound. Oh, very cool. This is Pink Floyd-y with the female vocals. Not the cool drum beat, but
Sure.
Wow. It's just still going, man. That drummer's going to town. Whoa!
There's people like screaming in the background, I guess, because they're sinking.
Or they're just reacting to the prophecy, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're going to go right into the next track, so remember not to stop it.
Yep.
It's coming.
All right. Let's hear this stalagpipe.
Stalagpipe. The sound of rock. Well, that's a piano. So you hear the
high pitch notes are the pipes, right?
I think it's just the droplets you're hearing.
Oh.
The water droplets. That would be my guess. There's no way you can turn stalactites into an organ.
Well, no.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the rhythm of this song is based off of how the drops are falling, you know?
I figured what they meant was they took a pipe organ into a cave, and the reverb of the cave is the fancy part. But I can't tell. I can't tell if those high notes are little pipes that are piping or if they're piano.
It sounds like a piano with... I think that I could make that same effect with any piano.
Yeah.
But not that it's not a natural effect, but I think what we're the stalagpipe part of it is the droplets.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be falling that perfectly, so he definitely took and moved the droplet. Unless the droplets are all synthetic.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but that's really cool though.
Yeah,
so,
that's fun.
All right.
That was cool. I think what was happening was the island sank at the end when it was getting more and more frantic, and then you heard people yelling in the background, and then there was no voices.
I wonder, and
I
we'll
think
know
that's what they were trying to say.
We'll know for sure when
yeah.
we read the next part, and if it's like thousands of years later or whatever, and now we'll see what ends up happening. But that was great, though. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think I think I liked part 2 better than part 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go Supersonic
part two
was
stuck with me more. Well, yeah, I did like Go Supersonic is my favorite so far.
Yeah.
My favorite track. But part 2 it really gets going. Like part 1 is like that first track is just setting the stage, the mood. And then you kind of have 2 diametrically opposed tracks, but then you're getting into the meat of it with 4, 5, 6, and 7.
It is fun too when I feel like I haven't been paying attention to it this way, but the different instruments that are being used could definitely represent different characters and things like that. You know, the Night and Day song had a lot of guitars in it. Yeah, and so I wonder if when we hear the guitars, we're supposed to think of it as like the bad guy coming through. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Peter and the Wolf style.
Yeah, yes, very much so. So I was going to show you the disc for this just because it's so badass looking. And just because you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, is that a biblically accurate angel? Is that what that is?
I don't think so. No.
Isn't that no? Okay.
I don't think so. I've never heard of that. It looks like a ball made out of iron or something, and then just a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, that's a biblically accurate angel. Which is like a sphere. If you Google that, you'll see a bunch of concentric rings with eyeballs around it. Now, I'm not a scholar of the Bible, so I don't know why it's called that or what that actually means. I don't know what the description of the Bible shows that, but that's what people say. So if you Google that, you'll see that.
That's cool. I don't know.
It's definitely what that is.
And then it's got the Pepe Deluxé, and then it's got the Maneki Neko sign there, which is their record label that they were on at this time, which is called Catskills. Their music was released, I believe, in the UK usually first, and then it made its way over to the United States eventually. And it did say 2011 on there, so I think I was wrong with
So
my
I was wondering that
2012.
does all their stuff get released in America or?
It does, yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
they're
it
big
does.
enough for
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. Look, check them out on Spotify real quick and see how many plays they get. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'll look.
I would be willing to bet that songs off of this album probably have the most plays.
Was
Unless-
this their biggest album?
I think so, but I don't know. It could have been their last. I mean, their new one just came out 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't even. The thumbnails are so hard to tell. Before you leave, everybody pass, or before you leave and lying peacefully are their two biggest ones, which I don't think are from this. So
hold on, let me look.
from Comics Sonix.
That's their new
and
album. Comics Sonix is their new album.
Super Sound, which is their 99 album. It says.
Yes, that actually they did have some big songs from
Okay.
from their first couple of albums.
Huh.
I'm gonna actually look too real quick because I want to see.
I mean, they have 2 tracks that are over 1 million. They're not, 36,000 monthly listeners,
Oh, that's the number I was gonna look for. 36,000 monthly listeners, which isn't very
Yeah.
much.
which I just clicked over to the last band I was listening to, 10cc, which is a big band, 3.4 million, so 100 times that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is at all, but that's fine.
They're an older band, but just to give a baseline for like a big popular artist, probably a few million. So this is about 1% of that.
Yeah, and I was listening to what was I listening to I was looking something up on Spotify recently in a video. Imagine Dragon or One Republic. One Republic's biggest song has 2 billion streams.
Oh geez.
Yeah, that Counting Stars song has 2 billion streams. So
Cool.
these guys significantly smaller than One Republic. Would you
But
believe
I mean, so do you have to buy their stuff on like Bandcamp? Or is it because you said they had a Bandcamp?
They do have Bandcamp, and you can purchase physical stuff from there, though I don't think they have much backlog. But you can find their albums on eBay, and also you can just go to Amazon, type it in. That's
Okay.
how I bought their last album, and that's how I'll buy their new album, too. Okay, all right. My Flaming Thirst.
Okay.
Track 9. This is first track of part 3. The mistake of a lifetime. Salim's conscience slumbers as he yields to temptation with Lolix in a moment of weakness, leading to duplicity with Anzime and a strange blindness to the wrong he has committed. The nemesis of karma starts pursuing him, a pursuit that will eventually lead to deaths of both Salim and Lolix, and also Mainin.
Whoa.
So we need to learn who Lolix is here. Lolix is a barbarian princess. So it seems like he had a bit of a fling with this barbarian princess, and it really was not sitting well with his second half, Anzime. But somehow karma starting to pursue him will lead to the deaths of him and this barbarian princess, but also the bad guy as well. So interesting. Right. So this is My Flaming Thirst in 3, 2, 1. So it said he'd been asleep for a while, so we don't know yet exactly if Atlantis is gone yet or not.
Okay.
I don't know what that sound is. Jangling. Oh, God, I love the way it sounds so much. A little Old West in there, too, every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Am I about to give in? Am I about to do this thing? It has the ring of truth that is beautiful. Allow me light.
Wow.
You're not the one I want. You're not the one I want. You're not the one
Interesting. I think this song is from the perspective of Still Zalim, and he's kind of fighting with himself, but it's being sung by females,
Yeah.
which is
There was
interesting.
something like that earlier too.
Yeah. I cannot get over the drums and how phenomenal they sound. Oh, that piano. We haven't heard piano really like that yet on the album. Like nice, clean piano.
This sounds like a Bond theme.
Like oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like it could have been a single type thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand what she's saying though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't particularly care for these vocals on this track.
Yeah. It's so cool to have something that feels so vintage and then have those synths come in.
Yeah.
It works so well, it doesn't seem out of place, but in your brain, you know, like, wait a second, that didn't exist when this was recorded. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, cool. A tambourine and some kind of, I love those rhythmic sounds in there.
Sounds
that
like
can-
crickets.
Well, there's definitely crickets in there too, but there's also some kind of like someone was playing some sort of well, there was a shaker in that,
Yeah.
but then there was also like almost some kind of like a little,
Oh.
like a, but on something big and hollow. Yeah, I think we said a lot in there. Like it was hard to understand what she was saying.
Yeah.
It was hard
Yeah,
to
I
get that.
I don't really like female vocals like that, where it's like a Bond theme, where they're big and bombastic and soulful, I guess. I mean, it was good. Like it was
Yeah.
skillfully done. That's not my favorite kind of vocals. So
See, I really do like that style of vocal
Yeah.
a lot, but
Yeah, I
I
know
felt
you
like
do.
this was very slurred together.
it was hard to understand.
she
it,
was
which is
singing-
weird because
yeah.
you think you'd be able to understand it.
Yeah, when I
For
almost
how clear
wonder.
she was singing, but I mean, there was some effects on it, and
Well, I think
Yeah.
I almost wonder if it had to do with the accent.
oh, maybe.
You know, it was
Yeah.
someone with a very thick accent singing in English, and it didn't sound like anything particular, but
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it was.
And
As-
normally I wouldn't be paying this much attention to the words, but it's a story-based album, so
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be able to understand it.
Yeah, and when you said I don't care for the vocals as much, I thought to myself, I can't understand them as much, but I think I still like them just as much as everything else.
Sure.
And then I think before you even said that, I had already subconsciously flipped that switch in my brain that like, oh, these vocals are just a part of the song and not carrying any message I need to worry about or pay attention to.
Well, and that's how you listen to most music, is
It is, but then
the
but I
vocals
always
are sounds. They're not
yeah,
words.
but I also do really focus on vocals sometimes when it makes sense for me to do
Yeah.
so. So I just want to point that out.
Sure.
I've been thinking about Chris Parker and I've been talking about maybe possibly trying to bring the music room back at some point in some
cool.
kind of a fashion. And I really wanted to have you be a part of that on occasion, you know, when we do it.
Sure,
Because
sure.
I think 3 people would be better than 2. And it's really been really hard for Chris Schoenberg to get time to do
Yeah.
things recently. One of the things we did with the music room was we would always pick a topic and then we would bring songs and show each other.
Yeah.
And if we did try to revive that, it would be neat if we could find a way to do it without playing any music, or
Yeah.
you know, find a way to like maybe make a playlist for every episode and then have people listen along or pause it and listen on their own or something. But anyway,
Or you do 2 versions where the Patreon version has the tracks in it and you host it on a weird server that, you know, you wouldn't need much bandwidth because it's on Patreon, and then you put out a music list version on the
on
Something like that.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's something we're still debating about. But
Yeah.
one of the potential topics I've been debating about is what are your favorite song lyrics, like, or who are your favorite lyricists and things like that. Because all three of us really, I think you pay attention to lyrics more than me, but not as much as everybody else.
I don't know if I could answer that question. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, you'd have to think about it. That's the
Yeah.
whole point of it. Is to
Yeah.
think about stuff on your own.
Sure.
But anyway, that's it for a future time. So let's go into Iron Giant, which I'm really excited to see what this is.
Yeah.
So track 10, Iron Giant. Zalim visits a Devacanic, which I'll just look what that is right now. Afterlife, it just says.
He visits the
A
afterlife.
Devacan afterlife.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know. Zalim visits a Devacanic paradise. Oh,
Oh,
keep reading, dummy. Zalim visits a Devacanic paradise where one enjoys their life rewards in an astral plane. Inventor Merton Fowler's strange world, filled with peculiar mechanical contrivances put to utilitarian uses. A mammoth pipe organ built by the man himself. So I think
this is going to sound cool.
the Iron Giant is a mammoth pipe organ, I guess. So let's go. This is Iron Giant. Oh, this is only 2:22, so this could be a whole
Yeah.
intermission thing. So in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that's cool. Godzilla's coming. Oh. Everything is sidechain compressed to that. Very cool.
Going around and coming around. La-di-da-di-da. A one-eyed face and bustling sounds.
These vocals are weird.
Very much so.
These are the iron chains of iron bands that hold. All together, the people both young and old. And maidens with pigtails they love. The friendly
Some interesting stuff panning around there.
la-di-da-di-da.
Okay, oh.
Start the pipe organ. Yeah. It sounds so unwieldy.
It does. Because pipe organs are never truly in tune. You have to tune an orchestra or whatever's playing with them to the pipe organ. So
The friendly giant who's serving all of us. La-di-da-di-da. Mechanical wonder, you're slow, but that's a plus. La-di-da-di-da.
that's a small pedal organ, like a pump organ. Very
Like a little
cool.
toot at the
Yep.
end.
Very cool. So
Yeah,
that
that
was
was cute.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many have you heard very many like rock songs or anything that have pipe organ in it ever?
Oh, not that I could think of off the top of my head. It's not a. Usually, if it's an organ, it's like it's like a Hammond organ or something.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I don't know. It just turns it into something that sounds like church music. Or,
right, which is kind of a tough thing if you don't want
Yeah.
that type of sound. But the one song that comes to my mind is there's an album that's actually kind of similar to this in terms of how that it is definitely a story. What's the story album called? What are
rock
albums?
opera?
No, when it's like it has a theme through it. Like
A concept album?
yes, concept album. Sorry. Yes. I've been finding recently that one of the side effects of just having cancer for the last 7 months, is it's really hard for me sometimes to recall words.
Yeah, chemo
Like-
brain is a thing.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I can picture the thing clearly. Like earlier today I was walking through the hallway and I was like, I was trying to think of the word bathroom, and like I say the word bathroom all the time, but I was like, Mom, the light's on in there. Turn left into the room right there, like that room.
it can be frustrating.
Bathroom. Well, it's not frustrating more than it's just funny, kind of. But
Yeah, once it goes on long enough, then you'll find it frustrating. But hopefully you'll get over that.
yeah, for sure. But anyway, Shiny Toy Guns have an album, their second album out. They released an album and then their singer left and they didn't really know what to do and they hired a new singer. And the guy who was in the album wrote in the band, the sort of lead songwriter, he wrote a whole album that was a concept album that is very different from their first album. And it's so much different from their first album that it kind of really alienated some of their fans. I think that album is like a masterpiece album, even though I don't like every song. I think that it's like put together so well and such a risk to make an album that way. And it reminds me of this album kind of like just the scope of it. And the last track on that album, there is a church organ in it, like a big pipe organ. And it was probably not a real organ played in a real like area, I would guess, probably not. It was probably just a patch on a keyboard somewhere that they found a really good one. Yeah. But it really adds this like epicness and finality to that song and really separates it and makes it this big special event, this climactic event. Because you feel like the big like the huge chords that just shake your body. Have you ever been in a place where a pipe organ's been played?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the lowest notes I've ever experienced in my life ever are on pipe organs. Like you sit in a church or whatever, and I've been in churches when they were testing organs and things, and like doing warm-ups before concerts and things, and it literally shakes your whole body.
Well, I was going to ask, did you ever record anything that big?
Yeah, I've recorded, yes. When we recorded at the, one of the things we would record every year when I worked at the recording studio in Omaha was we would go to the Catholic Cathedral. It's just the Omaha Cathedral. And it was, for a while, it was one of the biggest cathedrals in like the Western Hemisphere. And I think it's to this day, I think it's one of the top like 10 cathedrals in the United States for sure. If not, I think it might have been top 3 for a long time. But it's a very big cathedral, and it has this huge pipe organ. And I think there's actually 2 pipe organs in it, one in the front, one in the back. And the one in the front, I don't think works anymore. No, I might be mixing it up with somewhere else in Omaha. But anyway, yes, I've been in there. And the cool thing for that is we would record the Christmas concert every year there. So they have an orchestra and then a huge choir that's made up of several important choirs from the Omaha area. So the Omaha Symphonic Choir, chorus, and then the Creighton Choir, and then anyone who wanted to be in it could be in it if you came to the rehearsals. So it is a volunteer choir, but they would oftentimes have like over 100 people in the choir. And then the orchestra would be probably 50 to 70 people too. And then there was always 1 or 2 songs that featured the organ. And the last song they always played every year was We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And everyone just played their instruments as loud as humanly possible on that. And then they would play it for a while and then they stop and then it's just a cappella and everyone in the crowd is supposed to sing as well. Yeah. It was a very cool thing to record every year, and we got to do a bunch of special things there. And I would always go to Mass that day before we did it, because it was always on a Sunday or Saturday, because we had to set up all of our stuff, then take it down so they could have the masses, then set it all up real fast, have the concert, then take it down so they could have more masses later in the day. But it was a crazy experience, and that is, like I said, the lowest notes I've ever experienced are from a pipe organ. It just literally like shakes the entire core of your being, you know. Very cool. Cavity. Absolutely. Yeah, very cool. And I was actually in Omaha once. My roommate Austin and at the time and I we were in our house and we just felt like something was happening. Like we were like, what is going on? We thought we were being bombed or something. So we went outside and we could just hear this loud noise. So we got in my car and I drove down and they were having it was an official contest of what do they call when you test your speakers in cars? What do they call that?
I don't know what
there's like
term.
there's like a term for it, like because it was an official sponsored contest. They got permission from the city to do it and everything, but they were doing it right a few blocks from our house, and it was shaking our house. These cars,
It's like ultra bass
yes,
notes.
yes, and I don't know how you measure that or who wins or what, but like it was, we were sat there and watched them for a little while, and I was like, Austin, my ears hurt. Let's get out of here. He was like, yeah, this is not a good place for audio engineers to be. I can't imagine being sitting in the car. Every car was full of people, so it's like.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You're literally killing your silly on your vascular membrane. All right, let's go to the penultimate track, The Storm.
Okay.
It says, an aerial Valix voyage to Suern, the vanguard of all nations, yet the first to sway from the path and lose their powers. Okay, so an aerial Valix to Suern, the vanguard of all nations, yet the first to sway from the path and lose their powers. The passengers enjoy the sensation of flying full speed in the midst of a tempest with the lights turned off. Interesting. And Suern is the Asian continent. So that's cool. Okay. I think at this point we've left Atlantis behind because they talked about him going through time and stuff and different. So. Yeah.
Well, and he's died now, and
I guess
reincarnated. I don't know. It's getting pretty abstract, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, in 3, 2, 1. I like the idea of in sensation of flying full speed in the midst of a tempest with the lights turned off.
Whoa.
Speaking of orchestra,
yeah.
Oh, that guitar was cool. Oh, that was a guitar thing. Oh. Flying? Are we flying through the light with the lights turned off?
Oh, yeah.
Close your eyes. Oh, yep, here we are. We're flying. Dwayne Eddy could never. Bum 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 the bum bum. Cool. I think we both opened our eyes at the same time.
Yeah, I've had mine open for a bit.
Oh, you cheater!
I'm sorry. I did close it.
I can use that as a thumbnail. I think we're literally listening to one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, this is an experience.
Really
like,
good, yeah.
Not everything is exactly to my liking, but
You know, I haven't heard I think you're in the right mindset to listen to this because you could be like, well, there wasn't a third chorus on that. You're always like that, you know?
Yes.
But it seems like you've been able to shut off that part of your brain.
Yeah, I think I was expecting this to not necessarily have that.
Yeah.
But also,
If you're not expecting it.
this is a whole nother chorus.
Yeah.
Or whatever it
that's
is, you know?
Sure.
I just think this is being presented differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sit down and listen to this whole thing again.
Yeah.
All the way through.
And also, it's called an opera, a pop opera. And so to me, the idea of a 7-minute long track coming up next, though.
Hello?
Literally, as the last note hit, you like disappeared. I'm like, oh my god, the storm killed him!
Yeah, that's
Hey, you posted a picture too. Good job.
Yeah, I took one while we were doing this.
Oh no, Pink Floyd 2, Soupy. He keeps giving me crap for not releasing the Pink Floyd out thing.
You know?
Get it? Because there's no Pink Floyd.
We
It
did hype
exists.
it up and then not release it.
In my book, it doesn't. They must be reacting to something metal with that outfit. It's amazing. Well, dude,
We gotta
I'm
get that
si-
Pink Floyd one out there somehow.
I know. I've been meaning to do it. I just, I was gonna make I was gonna do a premiere with it, and then there's just no music in it.
But didn't the first time you posted it unlisted, it had music for like a week or something?
yeah, and then they took it down.
Maybe try and post it unlisted again and see what happens.
We did try that once, and the same thing. It was deleted right away.
Right
But
away.
if you want, maybe, I don't know. One of the main reasons I keep waiting is because I just keep thinking like, well, maybe we'll find a different version of the album. We can do it. If you would take it upon yourself, this would really help me. To just try to do some research online, look on some forums, and see if there is a version that we could throw over the top of it.
Yeah.
That would
sure.
work, you know?
Which one did we use? It was
We did the 2023 remaster.
Okay, because
that had just come out.
There's been a 2003 one, and then there's like the original,
Yeah.
the original.
And I would be
master.
fine throwing anything in there, and I would probably have to re-render the video, or maybe not. It depends. We would, we maybe even could record a little intro for it or whatever, or something at some point, and just
you could
be
just
like,
you could just re-render the audio and then try.
yeah, I could, and that's how I have it without the audio in it. Right, like right now, that's the right now. If I uploaded it, it would have no music in it, and that's how it
Right.
would be. So
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we can do that.
yeah. Awesome. That was really
that
cool.
Song. That was it was intense.
Yes, it was. And it was intense because of it was intense because of what was happening, but it was also intense because of the way it was made. Right? The vocals being so huge and like very neat, very different from everything we heard so far. Pieces of this, it just reminds me so much of soundtracks from like B movies from like the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I haven't even experienced a lot of that, but that's just the vibe that I get from it. And like,
Did you see the movie Poor Things last year?
no.
Oh man, you should watch that.
Oh, I
That's
think
really
I
good.
kind of remember. Is that the one that was
With Emma Stone.
yes, yeah, where she goes through through time?
It's very steampunky. She's like a childlike. She's not a robot, but she kind of acts like one.
Okay, so there's I kind of remember something about that.
It won all sorts of awards and stuff, and it has a real kind of steampunky fantasy vibe.
Okay.
Like I could see these songs being a soundtrack to that.
Okay.
You should
Very
watch that
cool.
movie. Don't watch it with your parents.
Okay, that's good to know. I think that's part of maybe what I had heard about it. That was that people were like, "Oh,
a lot of nudity."
yeah."
so.
That's what I'd heard. That's
But
what I heard.
You would love it. It's such a weird movie.
Yeah,
that's kind of an
definitely-
aside, but I'm getting a lot of those vibes, like that, and like you never played the BioShock games, but like BioShock Infinite when that came around, they had similar musical stylings in that.
Right, and the whole aesthetic of that game was based on the 1893 Chicago World's Fair.
Yes,
So,
yes,
the White
that's right.
City.
I forgot you're obsessed with that. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Check out that movie though.
Yeah, I will. And if I ever can get into first-person shooters, if ever.
Yeah.
Like maybe someday in the future I'll discover I can, or I'll take a drama, or maybe my cancer will cause me to not be,
Right, yeah.
And I have played a few things, and I do watch people play games in first person. So maybe I could watch a playthrough of BioShock, but
Yeah.
and the BioShock TV show is coming out too, I think.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a Netflix thing, I think, that's coming later this year.
Steampunk ain't dead.
Yeah, we'll see. All right,
So
last track, 7 minutes.
and the track title, Riders of the First Ark. Obviously a play on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Or Riders of this on the Storm.
Yeah. Well, it immediately comes after the storm too.
Right.
But it's almost like Raiders of
The
Last
Lost
Ark.
Yeah.
Which is not what it is, but yeah. Anyway,
Let's see what it says. It says, having received instructions from the Son of Solitude, who is the Sons of Solitude, spiritual masters. So having received instructions from a Son of Solitude, a man named Neph, who is a simple and ignorant but righteous man, and his family have built a great vessel for themselves and several species of useful animals.
Stop me if you've heard this one.
When Atel, as prophesied, sped down to the depths, Neph and his storm-beaten ark were hundreds of miles away. For many days his vessel drifts over the silent seas, and only the ceaseless roar of rain upon the roof to break on the roof to break the stillness. So, okay, I'm going to call shenanigans right now. We are going to get a 3-minute song and then 4 minutes of the sound of rain. And that is going to piss me off, because I have heard several albums do that and then be like, look, our album is 50 minutes long. Like the stupid Lord Huron album that came out that I think is one of the greatest achievements in sound recording ever. That album is like 43 minutes long, but there's a 17-minute track at the end that's literally just the sound of someone. It's bullshit is what it is. It's absolute BS. And let's hope we don't get that here.
We'll see.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, I didn't expect a silent ride in the Ark as the final.
Well, so let's think what we got here. So are we saying then that we think that the flood, the great flood, right? Obviously that was sort of paralleling Noah.
Yep.
And the guy's name was Neph.
Yeah. And they called it an ark.
Yes. So
oh, so this is okay. So I get it. Riders of the First Ark. This is not like an Ark of the Covenant. This is like an ark.
An ark, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder. So it's kind of so are they saying here then that Atlantis's destruction was caused by the rains? Right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because it took over the sea took over. It said that at the very beginning in the first trailer. They were waiting for the sea to take over in the prophecy or whatever. So rain came down, covered a majority of the land. Atlantis was lost, basically. And so
this man and his family and his ark of useful animals.
And do we think that he could possibly be a reincarnated Zalim? Possibly.
Oh, I don't know.
Just as a thought. Don't know.
I mean, it talks about him like he's a different person. Like
it does.
It's just a humble, I guess.
It says a simple and ignorant but righteous man, as opposed to Zalim, who is explained as a hero, a stalwart young mountaineer.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you got to read the book.
Yeah, and I would be very interesting.
Is there a final passage after this? Or
nope, that's all it says.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see if we get the closure we want here. I'm not even expecting vocals with that description.
And I will say this also does say it's based on the book The Dweller on Two Planets and An Earth Dweller's Return.
I'm going to look up these books afterwards because that sounds like something I should know about.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't sound like something I would enjoy reading because it's just hard for me to read stuff like that, and it's like reading the Odyssey, you know. And,
yeah, but I think it's newer than that. You know, it's from 1902, I think, is what it was. So, and
it sounds really interesting.
I looked it up online. I just looked it up on eBay just to see, and there was the first thing that pops up is like a $65 copy from the 50s. So they re-released it in the 50s, you know, during the boom of sci-fi and stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's from so early, you know, from before a lot of that famous
Right,
science fiction stuff is pretty cool.
Talking about airships and submarines and stuff.
And I almost
before all that
wonder if
existed.
a majority of what we think of as Atlantis came from that.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't really know how the myth of Atlantis evolved over time.
I've always
if that's 1,000-year-old thing or
Yeah.
a 100-year-old thing.
I don't know. I've always thought that Atlantis was so cool.
It is an
Like
awesome
such
idea.
a cool myth, you know? And I can't believe it hasn't been explored more.
Right, yeah.
Like when Disney makes a live action remake of Atlantis, that is one I would be curious to go see.
Yeah.
Because it actually makes sense. It's not, but I'm sure they'd screw it up and make whatever. I'm sure they'd Disneyfy it and make it terrible. But, all right, let's not dwell on that. Let's go to Riders of the First Arc
Okay.
in 3, 2, 1. This melody sounds kind of familiar. We might have had this before.
Yeah.
A newborn ocean
Oh,
out of the blue.
It's this guy again.
A voyage to nowhere, just passing through.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I think of remembrance, the sense we lost, the sense of being lost. A new horizon blew out of the blue.
Very cool. Very cool. Harmonica, baby. Oh no, he forgot the unicorns.
That's why they don't exist.
Only two of every kind that we could find.
Except the unicorns.
These are the past, but in the tales they last. In the future will sparkle again.
A newborn ocean blew out of the blue.
Is he saying bloom out of the blue? Because that's brilliant if that's what he's saying.
Somewhere, just passing through.
Oh, the way that they mess with that. That's what tape does, right? When tape's not lined up properly.
The things we lost.
I don't know if I'm hearing what you're
Things of
hearing.
being lost.
Oh, just like, yeah.
A new horizon.
That's a... Let's go. Give me the most special thing you got left. Put it all into this. Don't give me a bunch of Rain BS. I would be okay if it was like a musical interpretation of Rain.
Sure.
That's what we're getting here.
Yeah, that's what this could be.
Because we had the storm before this, you know?
Yeah.
All the phone with two horns, he forgot the unicorn.
You had one job. Bring the unicorns.
Of every kind that we could find. These days are the past, but in the tales they last. In the future will sparkle again and again. All the people with their flaws, they forgot the book of laws.
The Poconaws or Pokalaws or whatever.
They forgot the Book of Laws.
The what?
Every kind.
The Book of Laws.
No, the Book of Laws.
Yeah.
We need that.
The ones they lost.
I thought it was an animal called a Poconaws or something.
We are lost.
I'm just caught up on those poor unicorns.
A newborn morning blew out of the blue.
Maybe it's flew out of the blue.
Blew out, maybe?
Land out
Let's go. They're chaosing it up.
I expected animal sounds in this track. But
Maybe that's what those they're supposed to sound
yeah,
like.
maybe the instruments are representing that.
I want to hear the sound of a unicorn.
They're not there.
Apparently they fart rainbows. That's what I've heard.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
No. Is this going to be what you thought?
Hey, they gave me 4 minutes and 30 seconds of music.
Yeah, it was a pretty
It's
epic
okay.
song.
Now we'll
Yeah.
see if they can redeem themselves by doing something.
Sure.
Because this probably isn't actually rain, right? This is probably just tape static that they're doing.
I don't know. It sounds like waves.
Well, I think that they're doing a good job of making it sound that way. He's got different frequencies of tape static.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is synthetic.
Yeah, I think so. But it's... Oh, we're floating on the sea.
Yep.
If they won't give us any music, we'll give them music.
There you go.
Floating
That
on the
should've
sea. Going the whole time.
Oh, I didn't realize that played music, too.
Also, I hear my air conditioner back there, too. But that's fine.
Okay. Nobody else can.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Shut up.
Get rid of that thing. Or hold it still.
Reverse. Something is reversing.
Yeah, you're right.
Is time resetting?
Cycle begins again.
Will Atlantis be reborn? Billie Jean's not my love. I'm so glad I still had my mustache for this.
Whoa.
That a twang guitar,
Yeah.
a guitar thing you do, whammy bar. Very Looney Tunesy.
So that's an organ, right?
Yes,
I mean, that sound kind of defines the album, I would say.
I think
Or
so.
It's pretty representative of the album, of what they were going for, so it's appropriate to end on that. All right. Yeah, you kind of called it on that, but that doesn't bother me.
No, and they kind of did redeem themselves because they only really had like maybe
Yeah.
less a minute or
was
so
like a
of
minute.
that, and then they brought in the outro.
Yeah,
You know, which
and
could
it was a pretty epic song. Too.
Yeah, and it could have been that whole section with the outro could have faded into a 13th track.
Sure.
But maybe they didn't want to track 13 tracks because it's some kind of Atlantean. Maybe our whole perception of 13 being unlucky comes from the Atlantean calendar or something. Maybe that's the month. The 13th month is the month with which the Atlantic.
Perhaps. I think you nailed it.
Yeah, that's for sure, 100%. Can't dispute
well,
that. I think we
That
just
was a
listened
very cool album.
I mean, that I'll have to listen to it more, and I have a problem with recency bias, but to me that was like 10 out of 10 album.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah,
I cannot wait to show every human being I know that.
yeah.
I'm
for sure.
so glad we did a reaction to that. I'm so glad that I waited. I do think I want to get that deluxe edition because I think this is good. It comes with, they released like a whole bunch bonus stuff that they recorded at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder what the bonus stuff for this is. If it's like more.
Well, they did like a
story
live
stuff or what?
performance. They did a live performance that has like 3 or 4 or 5 of the songs from this like done live somehow
Yeah.
with acoustic performance. That they did like there's a bunch of like smaller tracks. Like there's a lot of tracks, but there's like smaller things that are just sort of like sound effects and things that they recorded for it, little beats and jives and stuff.
Honestly, I could see almost like. I mean, you read those things in between. I could see almost a 30-second spoken word interlude between tracks.
Yep,
like if
absolutely.
They wanted to do that.
They should have done that. I wouldn't have minded it.
I
I'm
think
glad
it'd
it
be
didn't
cool.
have it, but
I mean, I get that they do flow the tracks together, and that's important too. But I could just see a narrator.
yeah. I will say that the way that was put together was a lot more coherent and consistent than the Phantom Cabinet Volume 1. However, it is definitely made by the same people.
Yeah.
But Phantom Cabinet Volume 1, it was like every song was its own individual story being told with its own sort of like palette, including some like crazy stuff. And then like for example, one of my favorite songs on that album is it's called the Placebo PCB1, and it's a fake commercial for the greatest guitar pedal of all time. And so he just recorded a bunch of people playing guitar like really bad and really great and put it into this thing and had this guy narrate it, and he's like, say goodbye to the outdated 10,000 hours rule, just turn this knob up and hear it go from, slamming to jamming or whatever. And it's great, and it's just like 2 minutes long, and it's like one of my favorite tracks on there.
That's awesome.
But like every song on that album is like 6 to 7 minutes long, and it's just it's like contained. Nothing really fades into the next thing.
Sure. It's not a concept album.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's what this comics. What was it called? Comics.
Gosh.
Don't worry about it. The new one. That's what the new one is, because it's Phantom Cabinet Volume 2. Comics,
okay.
Comics Sonix Comics, or Comics Sonix, I think it was. And so I'm assuming it's going to be sort of following the same path. And it was actually came out much sooner than I expected it to, in terms of how long these guys put between albums. And absolutely rightly so. So let's talk about this album as a whole. This sucker was so impressive to me. I said it at the beginning more. So if you just skip to the end of this video and you want to hear a bit more of my complete thoughts on this and how everything was recorded, that's the thing that blew me away the most. This album was clearly made with the intent to have it sound vintage, right?
Yes.
And it did that in several different ways, with the vocal stylings, the effects on the vocals, the way every instrument was recorded and then run through tape saturation and tape filters and all this stuff, tape emulators. A lot of it was probably...
It's like they took modern instruments and went back in time and recorded it back then.
Yes. Yeah, it could. Yes, it absolutely does sound like that. But also, I do think that everything does sound like it could have existed in the 60s, with the exception of those synths. The synths are the thing.
But honestly, like back in the 60s, synthesizers were a lot of those just like oscillating noises. And,
Right. And so that's why I
Like
think... sorry, go ahead.
That one that you described on the beach or whatever with the different plugs, like those came about in the 60s.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And that's we were hearing a lot of things like that. But we also did hear a lot of things that wouldn't have been possible even at the time, like the synth basses and things like that.
Yeah.
And definitely like, but the way that those frequencies were all handled, the way the dynamics of this album are, like there are some songs where the vocals just seem too loud, which when is the last time you heard that in anything,
Right, yeah.
Drums are just the loudest, most pounding thing in every mix, no matter what genre of music you are nowadays. And so that was really nice. The dynamics of this album are perfect. I think I say this all the time with stuff that's trying to do this, like the Black Keys and the Heavy and Jack White and just so many things. There is just this is approaching that like True Blood territory that I always talk about, of like it's clearly trying to sound vintage, and a lot of everything I just mentioned, all those different bands, they do it very successfully, right? For the most part. And this just took that to a whole nother level. Like every effect, every reverb effect, everything. It honestly, like, to me, it rivals the best thing I've ever heard in terms of trying to capture an old sound with modern equipment or in a modern time, you know, which maybe they're using older equipment as well. That's definitely part of it. Maybe. I'm sure they are. But like the best example that I can give of what I'm talking about is that Lord Huron Old West sounding country album, like Old West sounding album. Like I've never heard anything that just so easily could be picked up and plopped in like the 50s, early 60s, and it would absolutely wouldn't sound out of place. With the exception of some of the songwriting and the mix a little bit in terms of like having drums up and stuff like that. Like, but it absolutely was a faithful representation of a certain time period of music. This same thing done to that same perfect extent, just like so perfectly takes this album and plops it down in a time period and just does it to absolute perfection. Like and the thing is, like, this album sounds so cool. There would be so much more like this if it was easy to do, and I just don't think that it's that easy to do. You know, I think
it's so sad that you have to rely on these relatively small bands to produce stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if would something like this get popular, you know?
No, but if you look back to like the Beatles, they're on top of the world, and then they say, screw it, we're going to go do weird things in the studio. And the stuff that was weird back then relatively is not that weird today, and it remains super popular, but you don't see I don't even know.
Adele.
You don't see Adele's like, I'm going to do a weird concept album, and I'm going to go in the studio. We're not going to tour because it's not really, we can play it live, and it's like, we're going to do something weird.
Yeah.
No, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah. Or even like when we listened to that Beach Boys album, right? Pet Sounds. Yeah. We were talking about one of the things that we thought probably made it really exciting at the time was the fact that if they wanted a flute in this song, even for just like 5 seconds, they got a flute to come in and play. Right. This first track on this album had every instrument on the whole album doing little things just for like 4 bars, like a little run.
Yeah. I was going to compare it to Pet Sounds because there's so many different instruments in this. I kind of was expecting when you described it, like a lot of like sound effects and samples and like animal noises and weird stuff, like stuff that are not instruments.
Right.
But there wasn't. It was just a bunch of instruments
and
used in really different ways. And there was like, the synthesizers meant to sound like birds. You have at the end, it sounds like rain, but it's all done with real instruments.
Yeah. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I thought we were going to be hearing a lot of that too. That's why I compared it to the Wise Guys and Avalanches and that stuff, because that's what I thought we were going to be getting. And I know that they, at the beginning of their career, they did a lot more of that stuff. However, the drums weren't like real drums. It was very much like early 2000s electronic pop music sounding mixed with samples and things. And then I think on their third or fourth album is where they made the switch to be more like this. And the reason for that is 2 of the guys like left the band because they did have a touring band at some point, but I don't think they do that now anymore.
This seems like it would be impossible. I mean, you said there was a bonus thing where they played it live, but like,
well, I think you just have to rework the songs. Like this album could be played live because a lot of the core of the songs was just guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and you could play the string parts or the brass parts on a guitar and make it work.
I suppose, The songs would still be the same songs.
Right. I feel like you could make it. I think the harder thing to do would be to try to like, there was different people singing on every song. So it's like, how do you do that, Yeah. But it's still possible for sure. You just have to have a good female vocalist
and male and one female. Right.
Exactly. You just have really good vocalists.
Well, was the only male vocalist we heard was that one guy, the Bobby Darin sounding guy, or was there multiple?
I think there were multiple male vocalists, for sure. Because they also did like chorus vocals and things at times. So I think there were multiple male vocals, but there was definitely the 2 songs featured that guy.
Yeah, as the lead.
And I don't know what he was even supposed to specifically represent, if it was anything specific.
Yeah, I don't know as far as like what relates to the story and the instruments and stuff.
I think the interesting thing about it too is if I wouldn't have read any of that stuff, I think we still would have gotten that this was a concept album, but I think we would have gotten a whole different story from it.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
The lyrics are right. You get a lyric where it's like, "Welcome to the temple," and it's like, what temple?
Right, or what was the grave prophecy, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I think that you still would be able to listen to it and tell it was a concept album. But I
for
think
sure.
we would have filled in the gaps with completely different information than what we got, which is very obscure.
It's not like you listen to Tommy by The Who and it's like, okay, you listen to Pinball Wizard, it's just literally sentences about a guy that's good at pinball.
Right.
Like, it tells a whole story.
Yeah.
This is like, the lyrics in this definitely do relate directly to what it was representing, but without that backstory, it's not, I wouldn't have had the same story in my head.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I think that it will be fun to listen to this in the future, like you said, all in one go, and just like see how it feels.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to feel a lot differently being able to hear from song to song. Like, I think some of the songs you won't even really recognize that it changed to the next song.
Right. Yeah.
Until it maybe starts to get going.
Well, some of them stop more abruptly in the middle of the song than they do at the end of the song.
Absolutely. And yes, 100%.
You would never know. It's like, oh, okay, this is part of the first song? Okay.
Yep, 100%. And all,
It's so cool. I'm so excited to listen to their next thing or whatever that was.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to listen to... As of right now, I do not have any plans to listen to Phantom Cabinet Volume 1, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you not to listen to any of their other music, because who knows, maybe this will be... When I posted... I think I told you this before, but the year that Phantom Deluxe or Phantom Cabinet came out, I had this listed, I think, as my number 9 favorite album of the year. And I just posted a list on Facebook and tried to tag as many artists as I could, but some artists aren't on Facebook. But they were, and I tagged them, and the guy from the band was like, "Oh man, thanks so much. This is really cool."
What an honor.
Yeah, he was like, "Really, this is so awesome." And I post back to him, I was like, "Dude, you have no clue how much your album blew my mind." You know, and so like there's a possibility that they'll see this video and be like, and hopefully listen to it and watch the whole thing, which, you know,
I don't regret anything I said. I don't think I said a bad thing about this.
I don't think I could have said anything bad about it. You know,
it was amazing.
It absolutely is amazing. So, but anyway, like I was saying, I don't think that as of right now, I don't have any plans to do this album unless you want to, because it's so we like the next thing so awesome.
And maybe if it lets us post the music, and you know, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, I think it will. I'm not too worried about that in this case, but the only thing would be if this is owned by like some weird record label, but it's opened by Catskills, so I don't, it's owned by Catskills, and I think they own all their stuff, so.
Okay.
I don't think that we have to worry about that too much. Maybe with some of their earlier work, because the guys did leave the band, and I think there was a little bit of trouble there with like who owned the rights to things. Okay. But this is already after it was just the two guys. So, okay. And I think their album before this one is also kind of similar to this, but not as structured like this.
Yeah.
And then then their next album after this is this one.
Okay.
So this came out 2011. This came out 2021.
Okay, and do you not have their newest album then?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably order it over the next. I need to have an Amazon order where I order a couple things from this year, but
okay.
That's on the list of things to order. So, and we don't even have to. I don't have to have a physical copy of it. We could listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah.
I renewed my Spotify subscription today, so
we got another 6 months of music.
Yep, we got another 6 months. We can do this. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This is a long video, but I don't regret it because it was so worth it.
Yeah, let us know if it blew your mind too, because I hope someone else is watching this and listening to it for the first time that didn't know what it was going in. Yeah, I think we'll get some people from our Discord to do it. Like I mentioned earlier, like if you like this stuff and you want to be involved with what we are, the small community we're slowly building, head over to the Discord and join it. Obviously, you can join it for free. It's not behind some sort of a thing. Eventually, we're going to have a Patreon with who knows what on there. But, you know, we're slowly going to try to build our channel a little bit here and there. We've got some exciting new projects coming up that we're looking forward to. And this is just something fun we're kind of doing on the side. And I don't anticipate this video getting a lot of views, but I would honestly say, like, if one person watches this video and is, like, as blown away as we are, it's worth it to me. Oh, yeah. Even if nobody watches it, I'm glad we did this just so now I'm aware of them.
100%, no problem. 100%, absolutely. Yeah. And this is a rare case where this is the first time I heard this as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was smart enough to wait and anticipate this being really special, and it was.
Yeah,
so,
it's too bad Too bad my wife didn't get in on this. But maybe if I get that other mic, we can have her on the next one.
It was our original intent to have Audrey here as well, and so do you think she would have liked this?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
especially the concept album part of it too.
Yeah.
So
awesome. All right, well, maybe for next time we'll see. Thank you everybody for watching. If the people from Pepe Deluxe see this, thank you for literally being so amazing. I think you can tell how excited we are, how much we like this album from watching this. If you skip to the end to hear our thoughts, I recommend going back. If you want to boost in confidence and feel good about yourself for a while, I recommend going back and watching some of the phases I made when the drums kicked in every song. So, because I just could. So.
And thank you for making music like this, because somebody should be doing it.
Yeah, and there needs to
be
more
people should be doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody for watching, and we hope to see you on our next adventure. Governor. I should probably take a moment before we quit here to apologize for the terrible, probably horridly offensive and politically incorrect British accent I was doing. I was gonna.
It's still cool to make fun of British people.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't care. We slaughtered them in the Revolutionary War,
That's
so
right.
Whatever.
We earned the right.
I feel like we got the right to. But also, I was gonna try to do an Australian accent and be more like the. Steve Irwin, but I don't know if I could do that one as well. Be like, "Oh, we got a new album here." That was British. Throw a shrimp on the barbie. Whatever. I don't know how to do that one, but I can do British accent pretty well. So, yeah. Also,
well, at least you didn't try to do Finnish.
Oh God, I would. Yeah, what's the Swedish chef? I was yeah, that would be that's very offensive, I'm sure. But before we go, I just have to point this out again. I just found this book on my shelf. The cancer, its proper treatment and cure from 1932.
Oh God, it's probably cut the limb off. Cut it out as much as you can. And hope that you survive.
I forgot the person who owned this book put all their glued all their recipes to these pages. So this is for Apple Delight cabbage salad.
Oh, jeez.
Here's an awesome picture. Here we have Pinoche and peanut brittle. Here's a handwritten one for fudge, something jelly.
Oh, wow.
I forgot about this. I forgot. Now I'm a little bummed. I'm like, I want to read about the cure for cancer.
Yeah. They reused everything back then. You don't need the cancer remedy
Directions
anymore.
for preparing and processing non-acid vegetables. Arthritis and rheumatism. Grind 3 lemons, 3 oranges, 3 grapefruits together.
Wait, is this part of the book or
no? This is a handwritten
home remedy. Okay.
So this is how to cure arthritis and rheumatism. Grind 3 lemons, 3 oranges, and 3 grapefruits together with the rinds and seeds. Add 3 tablespoons of Epsom salts and 3 tablespoons of cream of tartar and mix. Add 1 gallon of boiling water and let stand for 12 hours. Press out the juice and take 1 tablespoon of juice 3 times a day. Keep refrigerated. So keep your gallon jug refrigerated. Here's how to make mildew bleach.
Oh.
This is I forgot about this. This is so awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Varnish remover. How to make varnish remover. Instructions for using this waffle iron. It's so cool.
So it's just the book to paste in whatever you want to say.
It literally was, which was definitely a thing back in the day.
Oh, sure.
Ladies
would buy a whole
would find their own.
Just grab a book.
Yeah.
Why not?
Bread made in casserole. Cookies made
probably
with prunes.
In the 40s or something. The book was 30 years old.
I want to read about
probably
cancer.
Outdated anyway.
I want to read about cancer, damn it. Look, every page. It's every page. Here's a bunch. Oh, man. Think about all the lives we could be saving, Cody.
Here's
some staples even in there. It's not even staples. They didn't have staples. They just used nails, and they stuck it through the pages. The diagnosis and prognosis in every case is fully explained before acceptance for treatment. Yeah, no, it is not.
Really?
No, it is not. Of the number of patients whom we accept for treatment, 75% receive a permanent cure.
Oh, okay.
Let's get this going. Testimonial index. Let's see if we find anyone from Nebraska.
What is this? An ad for the hospital?
It must be. It must be.
This is. Yeah.
Dear Sanitarium friends, your other books were lovely, but the new one by far surpasses them all. Such picturesque surroundings, more beautiful than ever, and so inviting. How does that...
Okay.
Whatever. Mr. J.M. Jenkins. You're full of crap. This is just an advertisement.
Yeah. He's probably selling snake oil in there.
Founded in 1896 by Perry Nicholas, M.D.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Whatever.
All right, I gotta get out of here soon.
Yes. Yes. Thank you,
I will
Cody.
stop the recording.
Yes,
and
thank
I'll
you so
probably-
much. Bye.